Okay, record.
Server group assigned.
Okay, should be good to go whenever you are, Star.
One second, my push to talk is apparently not working. Okay, alright, can you guys hear me now?
Yep. Yep, I gotcha.
Alright. It has been 3 months since we last saw you all. Um, in that course of time, you have somehow all managed to make your way to Centron 5. Um, a couple of you have been here longer than the others. It's all kind of not very important. Everything is just led to everybody coming together at the same place at the same time. I will switch us over to Centron. Centron 5 is one of the very important worlds of the sector. Um, it's got a population of a little over 750 million, so it's definitely one of the more populous worlds. But it's very unique. Approximately only 200 million actually live on the planet. The rest of the population live in orbital space stations of one variety or another around the planet, and it's definitely known for its independence. Like the space stations are all very only loosely governed. Security up on the orbitals is handled locally, like just from what the locals wish to pay for. It's all private security pretty much. There's nobody out patrolling the streets unless they're paid to do so, and I wouldn't say crime is very rampant up there, but it's just more like there's a lax amount of rules. It's where a lot of people go to find work or get lost, um, and it might not be the safest place in the sector, but it's a great place for a lot of opportunity. The planet itself is a little bit of a different story. It is independent, and it has a little bit more lax laws than the rest of the sector, or at least some of the more civilized planets in the rest of the sector. But it really caters to kind of the wealthy retirees and vacationers and like just the more elite from the other planets in Sector 14. And so it's like it's not constant partying down there. Like a vast uh, portion of the population is focused on the fishing industry. It's one of the major food sources in this region. But it is definitely a definitely higher tier sort of living down on the planet as opposed to the orbitals. And kind of rules and regulations are different down there. There is actually something of a planetary government on the planet, but it's mainly just to keep the peace. There's not a whole lot of actual official business going on. Um, so a little bit of recent history. There have been a considerable amount of like pirate raids going on, especially in this sort of region of space. Some of you have some more personal experiences with this than others. um, but it's kind of caused uh, a downturn in a lot of system economies. Interstellar trade is not very frequent, and so any sort of interruption in it at all can cause a very big mess. So you've all come for one reason or another to Centron, and work being what it is, you've been looking around for jobs, and you've basically been managing to pay for yourself, but little else until now. Just last night, a job was posted on the kind of the planetary jobs board. That was a very, very limited time thing, and it was posted by a private citizen by the name of Oliver Green. And the unusual thing about this job was that it was posted last night and it expires tomorrow. Like it's from the very brief description. Let me go to it. From the very brief description, it sounds like he has just arrived in system, and he actually sent this message to post the job from the ship he is on, and he is, scheduled to land on Centron today, the planet proper. He has put out a notice looking for personal security and protection. Requirements are proficiency in self-defense and a professional attitude, but there's not really a whole lot of actual requirements there. There's no references or anything. It looks like he's maybe left all this to last minute in an attempt to make sure his presence is not widely known. And he says that he'll need protection for approximately 1 to 2 local days. Yeah. Normally, some of you guys might not have accepted this sort of mission. Acheron especially, this is not your normal fare. But he is offering 5,500 credits per person, and he is requiring kind of a force of approximately squad size.
You know what? If I'm going to be doing this kind of a mission, I would probably be volunteering to work the electronics / security cameras / that kind of thing.
Yeah, well, that's something that I'm about to get into. You guys all find yourselves waiting outside Corinthus Starport on Centron 5. Centron's fresh breezes and vibrant, clean atmosphere stand kind of in contrast to the orbitals and the atmosphere there, partially literally. And it's just like a lot more alive down here, a lot more carefree, especially if you have been living up there for a couple months, as in the case of Twitch. There's a greater amount of personal defenses allowed here on other worlds, but with a large portion of the population being wealthy, or at least those who have paid for a premium for protection on the planet, keeping the peace is something of a priority down here. So you guys all know that, while you are able to carry personal defenses, you may wish to be a little careful. You don't want to make too much of a ruckus, and you certainly don't want to, while it may not be illegal for you to be carrying certain types of weapons, you don't want to be just brandishing them out in public. There are 4 of you standing outside the Corinthus Starport, and you have all accepted this job offer posted at the last minute. None of you have worked together before, but the job specified a required amount of people, and since work is hard to come by right now, with all the recent pirate raids, you've decided it'd be better to split the reward than not get paid at all. Leaning against one of the walls is...
Just to note, but the reward was per person, right? So it's not a split.
Yeah. Leaning against one of the walls is a being named Phyrexius. Unlike the rest of you, he is a Carthan. He stands a little over 6 standard units tall, which translates directly to feet at a game. And even if it weren't for the fact that he has 4 very muscular arms, he'd be very intimidating. He's gruff. He comes across as a little more blunt than normal, and he is clearly here for the money and nothing else. He's got a fairly large pistol at his side, and something of a sour demeanor. Seated at a nearby bench is a slim, middle-aged man who has introduced himself only as Akron. He doesn't look like the model of perfect health, being fairly pale, and every now and then he seems to twitch just a little bit like he's nervous. He's got a pack on the bench next to him, filled with tech gear, and he's busy rapidly entering data into a very well-used compad. He doesn't appear to be armed overtly, but he managed to sell you guys on the idea that it would be beneficial for someone to have some sort of technical experience for this sort of job. Seated at the same bench, although on the far end, is an attractive younger woman with olive tan skin and dark hair and eyes. She introduces herself as Rei Serizawa, and despite her cute face, nobody could mistake her for being helpless. She's athletic and looks to be tough. It's clear from the few choice bits of gear she's carrying on her that she's industrious and prepared, and the rather large knife prominent in its sheath on her belt looks well used. Beneath her leather jacket, there is a slight bulge at the back of, or the small of her back, and although it's not carried openly, it does look like she is carrying a submachine gun, which does mean business. Lastly, there is Twitch. Twitch is a kind of a scruffy-looking kid pacing gradually about the area. Even though he's young, he looks surprisingly well-traveled. He has a well-worn pack over his shoulder that is partially unzipped, and from which the handle of what looks to be an old double-barreled shotgun is sticking out just slightly. Nobody has really asked what the kid brings to the table, mainly because it's obvious that he can handle himself. Occasionally, a small robot will crawl out of his bag and perch on his shoulder just long enough to get a lay of the land before scurrying back inside. You have all somewhat agreed to work together, and that each of you has at least something that should theoretically come in handy if things go to shit. You may not be the most professional of groups, and maybe you're not the professional group that this guy was looking for, but damn it, he posted it at the last minute, and so this is what he's getting.
Do we have a contact
All right,
or meet us at such place, or
do we see our charge, or we just
well,
this is like before he arrives?
You have been instructed that he is going to be coming out of this exit of the starport within the next few minutes. He should have already arrived on the planet.
I have the picture of 4 of us standing there with a sign that says Oliver Green.
Has he forwarded an itinerary to us?
No, he has not. He has basically said that he will discuss things with you once he meets you. It seems like he's being a little bit cautious. Like maybe he wants to actually personally meet you before he divulges his plans with you. You just know that he is going to be here within a few minutes. Is there anything you guys would like to do amongst yourselves while you're waiting?
So,
You
you all saw the job notice too, huh?
I think we've already decided to work together, it was stated. So,
Well, yeah, but you may not have necessarily had a long conversation about it.
I think Akron's probably going to avoid talking to people all that much while looking up prices on surveillance equipment and security
right.
hardware.
All right.
Okay, so we're supposed to meet this guy, Oliver, here, right? So, anybody know
That's
what he looks
what
like?
the job said.
You were given a general description. He is an average looking human in his mid-30s. He has dark blonde hair, supposedly cut short, with kind of olive green eyes, and from the description, it sounds like you will probably know him when he arrives. There's not actually a whole lot of people coming out of this exit. This seems to be a side exit of the starport. Maybe not primarily used by most of the populace. It seems like maybe he has some sort of connection in the starport that has allowed him to use this.
Now, personally, I wouldn't take a job like this, but I need the credits. So,
Don't we all?
she eyes like the pack at her side for a moment, and like he's like, I do need to.
Phrixus just kind of grumbles and stares at you guys. He speaks standard, which to you guys is English, but he doesn't speak up a whole lot. He just says, "You guys just better not get in my way."
Oh, he's with us this time.
Yeah. NPC TM.
Yep.
Oh, I kind of assumed that like Marcus was the fourth, and he was there, and Phrixus was just like some bystander on the side of the.
No, Marcus was not described as being here.
Oh well, you mentioned 4, so I kind of assumed that he was there.
Yeah, well,
and...
the fourth was Phrixus.
Oh, I missed that part. I kind of thought he was like you were describing a guy who happened to be sitting there who might be troubled.
He wants the money too.
No. No, this is somebody else who has responded to the ad. All right. So while they're talking, Akron, is there anything
I just
specific
chit-chat with
that
the
you're
others, but-
you're looking up to possibly expense?
Portable cameras, motion sensors, heat scanners, bug jammers. Probably going to try to requisition a couple Argus webs, one of which I will probably try to take.
All right. Do you have anything specific? A lot of this is probably not in there. Is there anything in specific in the gear that you are actually looking for? I know the Argus web is there.
The Argus web is the one I'm slipping in on the
all right.
in the list.
All right, for everybody else there, an Argus web is a set of almost invisible cameras and microphones worn by a subject. The web captures video and audio of the wearer's surrounding for up to 24 hours before it can be downloaded to a data slab. Yeah, I mean, you obviously haven't talked to him about it. It seems somewhat reasonable to you.
I'm going to convince him that he should be wearing one as evidence in case he's any issues happen, and the other one would be the spare. And
Hey,
then
yo,
the spare will
in
probably
case
go
you
missing at the end
die-
of the job.
we can have a record of how you died. No, that doesn't. But okay.
And
Sorry.
you're basically just looking for cameras and sensors that you can set up yourself.
Exactly. Things that I could set up in, like if he's going to rent a hotel room, to make sure that hotel room is absolutely secure from electronic and physical threats.
Let's see here.
So
I don't-
Akron, what you got in the bag?
Which, actually, I probably wouldn't be carrying my bag. Just my data slab and my CompuPad most of the time. The bag,
Alright.
bag of parts usually stays wherever I'm at.
All right.
Okay.
So basically, in his bag, he's just got his data slab.
Yeah. Oh,
I
yeah, I guess
don't-
I could say it's my carrier.
And
board.
whatever,
You don't
and
even
whatever
have a data slab,
peripherals.
do you?
Yeah, he does. Whatever peripherals that come with that.
Oh, he does. Anyway.
Yeah. So it might not be benching, but whatever peripherals you can imagine that comes with a futuristic
What do you
laptop.
dress like, Akron?
I've usually got just a crappy overcoat on, kind of a scruffy shirt, usually that sort of thing when I'm in my civilian attire, which I would be right now. A pair of
He probably
magnifying glasses.
probably looks a little skinnier to you than like he would even normally appear. Akron has not been living well since the destruction of the Ashara.
No, he is not.
Background for you specifically, Akron, you were picked up by the border patrol in the Fancetti system, and you were able to convince them that you were attacked by pirates and stuff, and they had no reason to suspect that you had something to do with blowing the ship up. And they had no reason to take any sort of look at your equipment or anything. Fortunately,
Ray
for
is
you.
looking at Akron and going, "Yep, You're probably gonna be the one I'm gonna be patching up at the end of this mission.
But
Yeah.
but they basically only provided you with enough credits to get you someplace, and you were able to scrounge enough to get to Centron, but little else. You've not been eating very well.
That sounds like a typical Akron situation. So
Yeah.
So Ray's looking at this guy, seeing a scruffy guy in worn-out clothes who's rather thin, with no visible weapon.
probably occasionally scan over
Yep.
you guys.
She's thinking that she's probably gonna be patching you up at the end of this mission.
He'll occasionally glance over the various people, kind of sizing them up, but for the most part, he'll be just messing with his CompuPad, trying to pull together an invoice
eyes
for
over.
equipment.
Guys over at Twitch, he thinks at least this one has a shotgun. Might come in more handy. Well, depends what kind of defense job this is. I wonder if I could make my payment yet. ...
Don't have to worry about that now. Just before we continue, getting to Akron, in the interest of trying to, I guess you're preparing some sort of expense report that you would like to forward to this guy once you meet him. Argus Web, of course, is actually in the list. That's 200 credits each. We're gonna say that surveillance gear. I'm basing that off of actually survey gear. It's going to be fairly expensive, like 300. But if you get a couple of them, like it would be enough to at least decently secure a room or two with surveillance. So like maybe if you're submitting a couple Argus Webs and a couple surveillance gear, like this is going to be a total of like 1,000 credits.
Sounds cool. I mean, again, I would be buying it kind of in his name, though. Some of the stuff that
We'll see what he
he's
says.
interested in may end up going with
If
him.
if
Well, if he's interested, of course.
yeah, we'll see what he says. All right, so you're waiting there, and almost precisely on schedule, the doors open, and somebody comes out in like Starport kind of regalia. It looks like one of the maintenance guys, wheeling a just a truck, and it's got like a bunch of things on it. Looks like luggage and some containers. And behind him is walking a human of average height. He's 5'10". He looks to be in his mid-30s. He's got short-ish dark blonde hair. He's got green eyes that are a little bit darker than normal. And the thing that kind of strikes you about him is that he definitely does not look like the normal sort of person that you might expect to hire bodyguards. Like he kind of actually looks like someone who you might expect would be a bodyguard himself. I don't know if any of you guys have bodyguard experience. Do you?
Bodyguarding, no. Hunting dangerous wildlife, yes.
Securing others, no. Putting monitoring up when I'm staying in a shady hotel so my stuff's not stolen. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. This looks like kind of a fairly tough guy. Not the sort of guy you pictured, requiring bodyguards. Like you were maybe thinking that this was going to be some rich guy.
Naughty rich boy.
He's not wearing super fancy clothes. He's just kind of wearing regular attire. He's got a backpack slung over his shoulder. He sees you guys, and he seems to take in the area outside of this alternate exit fairly thoroughly. He looks to be pretty powerfully built, and he approaches. Who is the closest to the door?
I was about to say that I'd be making an effort to be the first person to greet him,
Okay,
and also
yeah.
having my CompuPad out.
All right.
Please sign here for security equipment.
Yeah.
Ready to answer some questions.
So he sees a couple people waiting around. He kind of narrows his eyes at the look of Akron, but he approaches and do you say the first words or what?
I'd probably introduce myself, very first thing I would say, and shake his hand, and then immediately ask him the nature of his concerns.
All right. He shakes your hand. He's still got one hand holding up his backpack. The other one, you notice it's pretty callous. It's got actually some scars, fairly extensive scars on it. He's just kind of giving you the normal, like, who is this guy when you're talking to him. When you ask him, like, immediately get down to business, what are the nature of his concerns, he actually gives you kind of an appraising eye. He kind of appreciates this. He looks at you and he looks around at the rest of the group and he says, I take it you've responded to my post.
Yes, Mr.
I appreciate.
Green,
Yes, I am Oliver Green. I appreciate you being here promptly. He kind of looks over to this guy who's wheeling out this rather large cart, and he nods to the guy, and the guy kind of puts it down and goes back into the port. You guys have to assume this is like his luggage or something. There looks to be quite a bit of it there. He says, I know there was not a lot of information up front. I will tell you that I am not expecting trouble, but my line of work in the past has made me some enemies, and it pays to be careful. Do the rest of you kind of come up and introduce yourselves? As soon as he comes out and it becomes clear that Akron is interacting with them, the big Carthan, Pharixus, definitely comes up, and he kind of looms over Akron like he's a little bit miffed that he's not the first one in there.
I'm going to give him a almost a snide, beneath me kind of glance, and then look back at the other guy and ask him if he wants to stay on or off the grid.
He gives you kind of a wry smile and he says, "Off the grid would be preferable."
Ray smiles a little bit at that.
Says, "I was a mercenary back in my day, and I've made my fair share of enemies. None of them should know I'm here, but it doesn't hurt to remain anonymous." He kind of gestures for the clothing he's wearing. Like, he looks just kind of like another guy walking on the street. I do, however, have quite a few things to move with me.
Pardon me for asking, but you seem to be the kind of person
he turns to you.
Your mic is semi-activating, Bob.
Oh, is it? Pardon me for asking, but you seem to be the person who manages himself. For what reason were we hired?
He looks around, and he says, "Perhaps we should go about securing transportation while we are having this discussion." He kind of looks at Akron like, "Is this something you could take care of?" Like,
I'm going to actually to motion to him to hold that thought, snap my fingers, and request everybody hand me their CompuPhones phones so I can remove their GPS systems if we're going to be going off the grid.
All right. So how does everybody respond to this? Oliver Green, he looks, he's gone from looking like this is kind of all business to looking a little bit amused.
Ray just gives you a flat look and says, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, you're not getting to his phone.
The Carthan sort of glares at you and growls a bit. What do you do, Akron?
I'll ask him if he wants the Interstellar Police to arrest him tonight, or if he wants the someone that's bribing them to locate us to come show up and slit his throat tonight. Or if he'd prefer to
Oh.
hand me his phone and take his GPS out.
You're addressing Pharixus or Oliver?
Pharixus, actually.
Okay. He just kind of stares at you, very very silently.
I'll see if anyone else, look around to see if anyone else is willing to give me their CompuPhone, and also kind of shoot a glance at Oliver to see if he's going to say anything to the Pharixan or not.
I'm aware of no such function in a compad, so I don't think I'll be giving it to you.
He looks about and he says, "It's not a bad idea. I personally am not carrying a compad. Like this actually probably strikes you as very unusual. And he actually maybe at least it occurs to you, Akron, that like maybe he had the same line of thinking that you did, and he's simply not even carrying one. He looks to the rest of you guys, and he does not order you, but maybe you guys get the feeling that he would somewhat approve if you did this. He does give kind of a look to the Carthan. His amusement's a little bit less palpable, but you know, he's basically leaving it up to you guys. Although he's making it subtly clear that he thinks it's not a bad idea.
Compads don't have that kind of function, do they?
Ray will
It's
give
a cell phone.
Akron hers.
Yeah, but
And you can track cell phones today with GPS.
Now, Akron, when I get this back later, I'd like to have GPS functionality back. You're not going to disable it permanently, right?
Just disconnect it from the circuit board. I'm sure I can resolder it when it's time.
I'm just imagining having to buy a new compad later as I hand him this.
I'm even going to be taking out of my own compad, so there's always that.
Ray, do you hand yours over?
Yeah. with saying that in a stern look that says, "And you'll be buying me the new one if it doesn't work."
How about you, Twitch?
Twitch will grudgingly hand his over, but I still
All
don't
right,
think it's something that can be done.
Pharixus makes no move to do it, and Oliver basically just doesn't pay him any attention. He's looking around.
Am I the only one that has driving experience? Guess I'm driving then. Guess I'll go order us a vehicle.
Yeah. So you guys order a
How
a
much
car?
luggage does he have?
Can we pay in hard currency?
Yes, there
Do we even
there
have
are
hard
actually
currency?
yes. You can load credits onto credit chips. Oh God, where was it? They even have weight for them. I'm not going to make you track them, but they do have them. So you perfectly can. And if you are paranoid enough to do this, I am just going to say you have hard currency, Victor. It's not something that everybody would carry, but maybe.
Is it like cred stick reloadable credit card type thing? Or?
Yeah, like it's semi disposable. Like you can hand people this stuff if they don't have a bank account. Let me
I'd say
see
I would
here.
definitely carry something like that if that exists.
Yeah, you are not going to be able to transport all of his luggage in a small car. He talks to you.
Well, I'll say we're looking at 5 people plus luggage.
A
So we're probably
ground
going to
car.
need a truck at least.
A ground
but-
car costs $15 a day. If you want to transport everybody in a truck, that's going to be expensive. Alternatively, you could just purchase a ground car, and have him and several people in there, and then have somebody follow in a truck. Maybe you wouldn't even have to drive it. You could hire a driver. While you're talking about this, he leads you to believe that was something of what he expected would happen. He wasn't expecting you guys to have to personally drive his things. He does look like he's actually brought quite a lot. Like you would have to have a small U-Haul. Like maybe he's moving to this planet or something. You don't know what's in all these things, but like there's just like a lot of stuff there.
Sir, you have quite a few boxes. Are these coming with us as well?
Yes. This is definitely something I would prefer to talk about outside of public earshot.
All right, 2 vehicles it is then. Who's driving the second vehicle?
It should be
Violence.
noted that you do not have to have training to drive a vehicle. Driving skill only comes up if you have to do something extraordinary, like, try a pit maneuver or do something crazy, like just simply driving a vehicle. Unless it's something like an aircraft or a spaceship or something, like if it's a land vehicle or a grav vehicle, I'm gonna say, it's basic enough for you guys to do it untrained, as long as you're not making crazy maneuvers. So one of you guys could feasibly drive a ground truck, or you could hire somebody. He does tell you that he has a destination in mind. He would like to stay the night in the city. He has been traveling a very long time, and he would like to get at least one night of rest.
Okay,
But
so
he
it
is.
looks like we're going to be hiring a ground car and.
I'm gonna ask.
truck.
I'm gonna ask Ray if she has any criminal background on this planet.
He gives you a flat look that says, "I have no criminal ties whatsoever."
Then I'll say that she should probably sign for the hotel room rather than our boss under her name.
All right. Ground car is going to be 15 a day. We're going to say a truck is going to be 25.
Okay.
Um,
I could pay for one day.
he
I
is
have
willing.
50.
He is willing to expense this if somebody broaches the topic.
Sir, I have enough credits to pay for a day of this. Do you want to add this to our expenses, or?
I'm gonna ask him how much currency he has on him in hard currency, and he should probably not use any electronic devices if he doesn't want to get tracked. I don't trust the government here. They've easily bribed cops if somebody's looking for him, or if perhaps he's actually looked for by the police. I don't want him to get found by them either.
I don't know. I've been here
He
several months,
doesn't-
haven't had any trouble with electronics.
He doesn't give you an answer as to how much he's carrying. He just says enough. But he does nod that it is a smart idea not to use any electronic currency at this point. He seems to be going along with it. Maybe he thinks it's somewhat excessive, but he also appreciates professionalism, and it seems like he's been in enough bad situations himself that he does not feel that this is overshooting too much. So yeah, he nods. He pulls a credit stick out of his pocket.
So I
and
walk back and I'm like, the vehicles are on the way.
Yeah, and he hands it to you, Akron, and he says, there's 500 credits on there. Use it as you need. As of yet, you have yet to broach the topic of surveillance gear with him yet. Maybe that's something you might want to hold off on until you get off the street.
I'm actually planning on doing that when I get in the car with him.
Yeah, that sounds smart. So he hands you presumably a credit chip with 500 credits on it to cover trucks and everything else, and he goes and he waits by his stuff. The car thing.
It'd be hilarious. It'd be hilarious if Akron was never heard from again. But no, anyway, continue.
The Carthan seems to just kind of mill about, looking thuggish.
I guess
He
I'll
drive
the
he
other
does
car
keep
then.
an eye. He does keep a fairly close eye on Oliver, though. So within a couple minutes, after you place the order, a ground car shows up. It is your typical, four-wheeled car. It is
User
fairly
joined your channel.
Five-person
futuristic.
sedan type thing.
Yeah, fairly futuristic. Hey, car.
Hey, man.
Does it have,
Hey, guys. Sorry I'm late.
Does it have like Lamborghini doors?
Yeah, it does. Brief summary where we are right now, Kari. Everybody has basically accepted a job to protect some guy and serve as his kind of personal security as he's just arrived on planet for the next couple days, and we're just kind of meeting him. Everybody's at the starport right now. I will figure out a way to work you in momentarily. Okay. All right. That will require a computer's role, Akron. Notably, the truck is not here yet. So the car has arrived. It seems like they've got a really streamlined system to get the cars there. It seems like maybe the truck is not the normal kind of order, and it actually just shows up without a driver, like it's on autopilot.
Okay, but do I roll D20 on it?
Let's see here. Let me look at your sheet.
Skills are 2d6. But
Yeah, it will be a 2d6. Your computer skill
right.
is 1. And this would how are you doing this? It is not necessarily easy to get to the internal security systems on this vehicle. Are you going to be trying to like hack in through just like the normal interface, or are you maybe trying to like actually hotwire this thing?
Akron, these are
I've been
rental
trying to-
cars, so if you disable that, chances are they'll probably come and think it's stolen and know the police on our tail very quickly.
Are you there with him?
Well, we're all just standing on. We waited for the car, right?
Well, you're all waiting now for the arrival of the truck as well. And Oliver is not right there. He's waiting near his luggage. So I assume at least one of the Carthan is over there near the luggage. Are you all just near Akron in the car? Like Akron
I'm near our charge, waiting for the other
Okay.
truck to.
So Akron
roll
so
up.
far has kind of popped the door of this car. I assume Ray is
Ray is not paying attention to Akron at this
Okay.
exact moment. She's
if
Keeping an
I mean
eye
you
out,
can say
but-
that if you're there. I'm just trying to get a picture of where everybody is.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll be over with Akron.
All right. How do you respond, Akron?
I'm just going to try to basically like cancel the signal out if I can, possibly a hardware attempt to do it. So if it's not transmitting a signal, it probably won't get noticed right away.
All right,
as long
so
as it's
I
still
think
reporting.
this is like a dex roll. So you rolled 2d6. You got a 5, and that's plus 2, so that's a 7. Let me look at my chart here. All right, that is not enough. However, you do not set off any sort of notable alarms. It just seems like you are not able to do this. Like you're, it seems like this Twitch guy is kind of bugging you. You're flipped upside down in the seat of the passenger side, and like you're underneath the dash trying to hotwire this thing so that the GPS turns off.
I'm gonna figure if the cars are registered under Ray's name, that might be good enough for the moment, as long as our phones are down.
Okay, so yeah, you're having a hard time with all these wires and stuff. This is not like the systems of a starship, so you're having a hard time with it. A few minutes later, you're waiting for the truck to show up, and you see a basically what amounts to a taxi pull up, and somebody steps out. Marcus, you exit this transportation vehicle, and
everybody.
you're looking around. You basically responded to this ad. You're a few minutes late. of this guy who literally just posted this yesterday, like really off board. Oh yeah, and Ray did make a good point. You can re-roll a skill check if you want, Akron. We'll deal with that in a second if you want.
We'll hold on it actually, in case
Okay.
something more important comes up.
And it was basically just this guy with a general description of this average height guy with dark blonde hair, dark green eyes, name of Oliver Green. He was wanting people to kind of serve as personal security while he's in town. And this is where he specified the meet, and he was offering 5,500 credits per person. But it wasn't like an open thing. Like only a certain amount of people were required. You see several people standing about. There's somebody messing around doing something with a car. You see a little luggage truck, or not really a little one, sort of a big luggage truck outside of this kind of secondary exit to the starport, and it's got like a bunch of boxes and stuff on it. And near it is a guy matching the description. What do you do?
Just as a refresher for myself, because I'm so late. Sorry. We're on
fine.
Centron, correct?
Yes,
Yes.
you are indeed.
And
on
we're
the
at a
planet.
spaceport, I take it.
Yeah, on the planet.
And this potentially, probably Oliver Green fella has just arrived with all of his possessions, and there's sort of a motley crew of us kind of loitering around waiting for him to show up.
There's my blurb that I got from his speech about Centron.
Yes, that's a fairly good summary.
All right.
Yeah. So do you walk up?
I'll how do you pay people in this universe? Do you is there coinage and paper money, or is there just like a swipe, or what do you do?
There are e-creds, which is the normal thing, but you can also load credits onto cred sticks, which are kind of like disposable cameras almost. You can use them and reuse them, or you can pass them to people
Right.
who don't have bank accounts. They're not.
I wanna like flip the cabbie the proverbial coin, you know.
Okay. All right. So you step out. One thing to note on the actual planet, they're a little bit more security minded. It's still private security, and they're just more or less out there to make sure shit doesn't go down.
Right.
So you are perfectly able to possess your rifle. It's probably not a good idea to flaunt it or your body armor. So I'm
Yeah.
assuming you're wearing like a long coat over it, and you've probably got your rifle like maybe in a rifle bag over your shoulder or something, or maybe you just have it over your shoulder. Everybody else, you see.
I guess it could have a case. It could be like in a case with some other things.
Okay. Yeah, you see this guy step out of this car. He looks, fairly athletic. And you've got a pistol too, right?
Mhm.
All right. So yeah, he definitely has a pistol at his side, unless you specifically don't.
Yeah,
want it
that would
visible.
just be in a holster. I guess probably like a thigh holster or something.
What did the rest of you do? It looks like he's kind of approaching the group.
Looks like we have
I probably-
another one off the bus.
I'm probably gonna go over and point out that he's late, and also ask him for his CompuPad. We're going dark. Which is, speaking of which, I'm also going to revisit the issue with the alien, the Phrixus, or I can't remember how you pronounce his name, but going to be revisiting that issue with him before we leave.
Yeah, Phrixus. Not counting the players, Marcus. There are only basically two notable NPCs standing here. There's Oliver, and then there's this four-armed Carthan. He's humanoid. He's kind of linebacker built. He's got 4 arms, and he is also signed on to the job. His name is Phrixus, and he's standing over near Oliver. He he definitely tenses up as he sees somebody walking up with a weapon. But you guys seem to kind of scuttle around Marcus enough to delay him, and if he was an attacker, things would have gone bad already.
I want to just kind of walk up to this group and ask one of you guys, Oliver Green.
The guy in the back, he kind of lights up with recognition. He nods.
What interest would you have in Oliver Green?
I heard he needed some personal safety consulting.
You're here for the job. Okay.
Oliver.
Ray looks
Oliver
a little bit
kinda,
relieved that we're not under attack already.
Yeah. Oliver walks up. He's like, "You're a little late." But he kind of gives you he gives you the once over. You can immediately tell he is basically in the same profession, or at least was, as you. Like, there's just kind of a thing about mercenaries you guys can kind of tell. If he wasn't a mercenary, he was at least a soldier.
He's got the 1,000-yard stare.
Yeah, like he does not look like your normal rich guy who needs protection. He's pretty athletic and pretty weathered. So like he immediately kind of nods, like he recognizes the type of person you are. Like he sees that maybe you're not wearing like first-hand gear or anything. You've had to basically pawn off all of your Red Rain gear to get here. So you're wearing like second-hand woven armor, like a third-hand rifle over your shoulder.
With the blood of the first two guys still on it.
yeah. So like, but
Poor Sergeant Cav.
Yeah, poor Sergeant Cav. We'll sometime come back to Sergeant Cav. We'll ask you what happened with him later. He nods. He recognizes sort of a kindred soul, and he's like, we're waiting on the truck to get my stuff. Then we'll be heading out, and I'll be explaining things in a bit more detail.
Is slow.
Right about now, it's pulling up. It's kind of U-Haul-esque, only in the future. And it pops up.
The
And this one
future of U-Haul.
This one
We
is
haul
actually not driven by a computer. Like an actual guy jumps out. He looks a little bit like annoyed. He's looking around to make sure he's at the right place. Ray,
I walk over to him and like, yes, I ordered the truck.
All right, yeah. He has you sign a form.
I sign it. Ray's thinking to herself, and if we get our truck destroyed, I'm losing cred.
Yeah. So I assume, Akron, you probably let Ray use this credit stick that Oliver has so kindly handed you for the use of the group.
That is correct. They'll
Okay.
be using it for the supplies of the group. Also going to want to have a talk to Oliver whenever he gets a free moment about not using his name, not letting it in his email, trying to stay out of any electronics with his name on it whatsoever, if he really wants to be completely invisible at the moment.
Ray's thinking to herself, man, this guy is paranoid.
Anyway, you're finally all ready. He gets the guy from the truck to help load. I'm assuming you guys are helping to load the truck too, and like he is actually not above loading the stuff himself. He like points to a few boxes. And he says, kind of careful with that one or something.
Are the boxes light, heavy?
Most of them are fairly heavy. A couple of them rattle a little bit. They all just. It's somewhat hard to tell what's inside.
Is this like luggage, or are these crates or something?
These are kind of a combination. Like it's obviously luggage, but like he has traveled between star systems, and you guys would know that luggage that is required to kind of go through like interstellar travel has to be built to like a little bit more industrial.
He's got like several weeks worth of supplies or something.
Well, you don't know that it's supplies, but it's just like this luggage is built to be rough. Like he's going through a bunch of starports, and like you can never know how secure like a crate is aboard a ship. And so generally luggage in this day and age is pretty heavy duty unless it's just on world luggage. Like things will get beaten up if it's not properly protected. So unless anybody asks him specifically what's in there, he helps you load the stuff. The Carthan definitely loads the bulk of it. Like he is very strong. He puts those forearms to good use. And after he sees people helping, Oliver stands back, just kind of surveys. And yeah, you've got the truck loaded. I assume somebody kind of escorts him over to the car.
Yeah, I'll do that.
So
who's this way, sir? I'll be driving today, it seems.
I'm going to make sure I'm riding with him if I can.
All right. So who
I think
is going
Twitch
to
said
be?
he was going to drive the truck, I think.
Yeah. All right. That was exactly what I was going to ask. Who's driving the truck?
All right, so we got room probably for 4 comfortably, maybe 5 in the car. So we now have 6. So I'd say somebody ride shotgun with Twitch, and the other 3 go with me.
I imagine that everybody in the group all at once looks at the Carthan, who probably nobody likes immediately. And he just
As the only non-human.
Yeah, he grumbles and he makes his way back to the truck. He definitely looks fairly put off by this, but he makes his way back to the truck with Twitch.
I'm gonna take a wild guess here and say that this Carthan guy speaks English or whatever it is that we're all commonly speaking.
Yeah, standard.
He hasn't spoken maybe 5 words though.
Yeah, he's very quiet. You can kind of hear him muttering some curses on the way there.
And don't take it bad, man. We're all in this job together.
I'm sure you guys have kind of synced up your compad numbers so you can talk.
Sure.
All right, so
at the very least, Twitch has my number to call the car.
Yeah,
But...
once in the car and the doors are shut, Oliver will say, I'd like to stay at the Prel Hotel in Centron City tonight. It's been a rough trip, and I've come quite a long way.
I'm going to ask him why he selected that specific hotel.
A friend once stayed there, and he recommended it to me. That's kind of the only reason. He hasn't made any sort of reservations or anything. Doing a quick search would let you know that the Prel is a fairly higher class establishment. It's not like the ritziest place in the city, but it's in the top like 20%.
Alright, this is somewhat embarrassing, but how do you get there without GPS?
Well, the car has GPS.
That's right, you didn't disable that.
Because
Okay.
he didn't disable it.
I punch in the destination to the GPS.
All right.
Akron
and
wins this.
I assume you guys kind of communicate this, and you're off.
Yep, and we start down the road.
Might spend a little bit of time just kind of on this ride to introduce ourselves to each other, if they haven't already done that.
No, they haven't really talked to each other about it. It'll be a very interesting conversation with Twitch in the car in the front of the truck, but we'll get to that after. So what do you guys talk about? Oliver is not unwilling to talk as well if somebody addresses him, and he'll certainly listen. He seems fairly keen on trying to figure out who you guys are.
So, Oliver, if you don't mind, what was in all those boxes that we were carrying? Or is that something you'd rather not share?
He looks at you for a moment. He says, "Just my things." He looks about like
I pull up the stoplight temporarily.
He says, "I've recently retired, and I am coming here to live. Really, I've purchased an estate on one of the southern islands, and I'm I'm in the process of moving there.
You wouldn't like us to call you another name or anything while we're here, would you? Or is Oliver fine?
Oliver's fine.
Okay.
Name's Marcus, by the way.
He nods. He kind of nods to you, and he's like, "What company were you with?"
I'd rather not say if it's all the same.
Ah, yeah. Well, that's fine. He definitely he's very respecting of this. He nods. He says, I was in the business too for quite a few years.
Soldier, huh? Both of you?
Oliver nods. He says, I did my time in the Galactic Marines, and then went private, and just finally had enough. 1 second, please.
Talking physically 1 second or 1 second in game? I guess physically 1 second.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I'm back.
Okay. Name's
What
Ray.
about-
I'm a
Yeah, what about you fellas?
xenobiologist by trade, and by xenobiologist I mean I seek out alien life forms and collect samples, so to speak. You should have seen this thing back on S14 F6 like a couple months back. Thing was huge.
Oliver raises
Fucking
his eyebrow.
sights the size of this car.
He's amused. He's like, what's a xenobiologist doing on a protection gig? Like, not that I don't doubt you can handle yourself.
Need the credits, and I figure if something happens, you gotta have somebody to patch you up.
Oh, very true.
Not saying anything's gonna happen, but
It doesn't hurt to be prepared.
human insides can't be that different from aliens, right?
He chuckles. He says, "I've seen a lot of both." So over in the truck, you're following the ground car. Centron City is definitely the biggest city on Centron, obviously. There's quite a few people here. This is a very, very big city. Lots of skyscrapers. But it is basically
I perceive your deep city traffic grumbling to myself as I drive.
It is on the coast. So occasionally when you're passing between buildings, you get kind of a really bright blue glare that kind of signifies that you're near the water. You're fairly careful to stay near the ground car and the traffic. As you're going, the Carthan just kind of sulks. Do you make any effort to communicate with him at all? Like he gives you the occasional glance, and he's definitely kind of like keeping an eye out on the car ahead.
Yeah, I'll talk to him some. It's like, so, I assume you're on the same reason the rest of us are. Need some credits?
Obviously. He doesn't really look at you when he responds.
What kind of gun did he have? He had a gun, right?
Yeah, it is a very large projectile pistol. One might say it is a Carnifex, but we'll not go there.
Refresh me on the descriptions on the Carthans.
Forearms.
Yeah. Kind of craggy, dry skin, like tough. Think the Thing from the Fantastic Four almost.
So Krogans.
Well, generally humanoid, not lobster shaped. He's got a linebacker build. His upper two arms are a little bit more bulky than the bottom two, but they're like the bottom two are literally just directly below the upper two. They're not like arrayed on his chest or something. And you know that Krogans are not the same as Carthans in like this universe, in that like Carthans are known to be very tough, but like they are essentially humanoid.
It's a big pistol you have there. What model is it?
He kind of glances over at you for a few seconds, then he looks down at you and says, an AX-730.
I'm still gonna be facing the road and driving. I'm not gonna look at him while I'm driving the car. That sounds extremely bad. But I'm gonna pat the backpack and say that I've got a I don't know what could we call it?
Series 7 Crowdbuster.
No, I've already got a Series 7 drone.
Oh, sorry.
You have some sort of large shotgun.
Yeah, I'd try to name it, but it's like I've got a sawed-off shotgun in the back, and she's always told me well.
So the 19-year-old kid's like, I got a sawed-off shotgun in the back, like kind of stiffens up a little bit, and the Carthan just kind of sighs. And he looks at you. He takes out his CompuPad
Amateurs.
and he starts fiddling with it. Back in the other car, Akron is having this conversation with Oliver while it seems like Ray is talking a little bit with Marcus.
Marcus, yeah.
And so yeah, you broach the subject of purchasing additional security, Akron.
Absolutely, I'll say I've taken the liberty of drawing up an invoice. We can get this purchased and have it underway tonight if I can make it to the warehouse.
So the inside of this ground car, it's a 6-seater. The model that you got, there's 2 seats up front that are facing forward, and then the back 4 seats, the ones immediately behind the driver and the passenger, are actually rear facing, kind of like a limo. And I assume you're probably in one of the ones facing back, and he's in the one facing forward. And you're kind of having this conversation. He you get the sense that he generally actually kind of appreciates your attitude. Like he's more humored by the whole thing than actually taking it seriously. But you get the feeling that he kind of likes you. And he gives a glance to it. He nods.
Sign off this 10,000 credits, please. Yeah.
He sees that it's 1,000 credits. He says how exactly do you plan on setting this up? I was envisioning. I don't know how you guys are going to do it. I was just going to get my own room at the hotel.
We would probably take either the adjoining room or the room across from yours, sir.
He nods that this is sensible.
All entrances and exits will be monitored at all times, including for electronic interference if he's concerned about bugs. Okay,
so he chuckles a little bit and he depresses his thumb on the pad and signs off on it. You have ordered 2 sets of surveillance gear, and at least that he's a little bit less sold on the Argus web. He pauses when he gets to that segment and he says, "What exactly is this for?"
It shouldn't interfere with his normal clothing at all, but he can wear it at all times. So if any sort of an attack or attempt is made on him, he'll be able to basically have a complete record of it for investigation and that sort of thing. The other one would be for the spare in case anything happened to the first one, as they are kind of fragile.
Fortunately for you, since you were trying to sneak the second one into the order, he is actually very impressed that you thought of the potential uses for this first one. This is actually something that he had not even thought of himself, and he's very impressed that you came up with this. And he says that's actually a very intelligent thing to do. Zentron's generally a fairly safe place, but the but these precautions could serve well with the security here. He signs off on the whole thing.
Awesome.
Right, so you guys are going along. No incidents happen on the road. You eventually make your way to the Prel hotel.
Alright, I recommend they all stay here while I go in and book 2 rooms.
I recommend that you make some reference to booking them for a family gathering or something along those lines.
Okay. I book 2 rooms, preferably with 2 beds and a couch each, maybe a pull-out bed.
Okay. This is the kind of place that does not have pull-out beds.
Nope.
This is actually a tower. When you walk in, I assume everybody else waits in the cars. I guess.
We look like a family of 6, right?
That's my Aunt Pharixis over there.
Totally about thinking to see if Frixis will be cool playing our butler. I have a feeling you won't.
You walk into this hotel, and this is downtown. You have to walk in through the solarium first. This is like a proud area of the hotel. And this is kind of like part of the lobby. There's this big glass skylight. It's kind of golden glass tinted, and there's all sorts of exotic plants in here. A few people waiting about on benches and at tables, drinking various forms of beverages. There's like their versions of a Starbucks in the corner, and you see the actual lobby proper ahead with a series of elevators, and then there's like a second exit on the very far side of the lobby. It looks like it maybe goes to some sort of garage. Behind the counter are a couple people of actually various species, and as you're going, you see kind of a building schematic, and you see that there are actually 67 floors to this tower.
God damn, that's a big building.
Like the fire exit schematic.
Yeah, sort of like that, except it's actually holographic, or at least partially holographic. It's in the wall, but it has depth to it. It juts out, and as you walk by, you see like a green wireframe of the hotel, and whenever your eyes kind of focus on some part of the image, that part becomes a little bit clearer and magnifies a little bit. And this is definitely like an enhanced holographic display. This is a very, very nice hotel.
Okay, so when I book the rooms, I book the closest ones to the first floor as I can get.
Well, so you walk up, and there is a young woman who greets you. There's a couple other people there, but they're busy, and she has a polite smile on her face, and she says, "Hello, miss. How can I help you?"
Yes. I'd like to book. Thinking of a number of people in our group, probably 3 rooms.
For the night.
For 2 days.
Okay. She taps some things on this display. You can see that there's basically a holographic display, but you can only see the edges. What's displayed for her is not visible for you.
One member of our party is somewhat less physically able than the rest of us, so I prefer close to the first floor if possible.
She gives you kind of like a nod, and like the token sympathetic look that hotel employees are supposed to give people who have some sort of handicap. And she says, "You would like these to be adjoining rooms?"
If you have them available, if not, maybe one across the hall would work just as well.
She clearly does some sort of filter in her search, and she says, We have a pair of rooms next to each other on the 15th floor, and one across the hall immediately from one of the rooms. On floor 9, we have 2 rooms next to each other, and then one further down the hall. Anything else is higher up on the tower. And
the 9th floor would work fine.
okay, and she taps some things in there.
Varying for astrological amount, that probably is more than my crest stick.
Yeah, she taps some things in there, and she asks you about the a few standard hotel questions, like would you like this and this. She's
Smoking or not, please.
They run
Specifically,
background check on me and get nothing.
specifically, she asks you if you would like daily room service.
I don't think that'll be necessary for our stay. It's a short stay as it is.
You just picture Akron being like, "You said what?" If you said yes.
Right, so like maybe you hear that over your compad. Too bad you guys don't have headsets. She looks up at you with a smile and she says that'll be. She looks back down and she says that'll be 2,700 credits.
I'm just gonna kind of slowly look at Oliver Green.
1 moment, miss. I can give you 500 now. I have to contact my group for the rest. Give me 1 moment. And I pull up the compad and I phone the car. Ring, ring,
Even
ring.
In here with us.
He should be.
So
Or are
so
we even all in there?
I guess Akron picks up since Oliver doesn't have a compad.
Akron, the stay will be 2,700 credits. Please forward that to Mr. G.
I'll let you tell him yourself, and then I'll pass the phone over to him. I don't want to be the bearer of
Alright.
bad news.
I inform him the price would be 2,700 credits.
Yeah, he waves it off, and he says, yeah, that's fine. And
He transfers it to the cred stick.
yeah, there's basically a way of plugging your cred stick into your compad, for
Right.
transfers. So maybe Akron, you kind of get a little bit of a I don't know how your character would respond to this. Maybe you just get a little bit annoyed. This does count as an electronic transfer. It's just going basically from his account to Ray's compad, and he's actually using your compad to do it, Akron.
I would probably ask if he has any hard currency if he could come out to the car and get it. Probably be the best
He
bet.
looks a little bit like, wow, this is a lot of steps. Yeah, he pulls out another chit, and he hands it to you. He says that'll be enough to cover it.
Excellent. I'll tell Ray to
Akron,
come out
this
to
is
the
an
car.
upscale place. That looks a bit okay. So I say, one moment, please. And I walk back out and get the credit chip and then walk back looking rather flabbergasted.
You get some looks, not on your way out, but on your way back in, since you've come in 3 times now or twice.
Mhm.
One of the they basically don't have bellhops per se like you would consider today, but there's like a security robot out front, which doesn't really pay attention to you. But then there's like a couple hotel staff that are a little bit odd. That you're walking through here. She gives you this polite smile, but you could see beneath the surface, she's like, these people are weird. She accepts it though. She plugs it in. It chimes. It chimes well, and she smiles as she hands it back. And she says, "Enjoy your stay."
Thank you.
So I guess you guys get out of the car. Do you guys work out parking where you're going to be storing this truck?
They have probably a parking garage, right?
Yeah.
Usually trucks are on the first floor.
Yeah,
I mean,
they definitely
if
have
it's anything like today, but
I'm gonna ask Ray what what she told them we were doing with the rooms, or why how
So
she
I
got
guess-
the rooms booked.
So I informed them that we have 3 rooms on the 9th floor, 1 across from the other and 1 farther down the hall.
What did you tell me we're doing, or
I simply booked 3 rooms.
This is all
Hey,
being
happy
said
about it.
as you're kind of getting a few. He's getting a few bits of luggage out from the car, like an overnight bag. And I'm assuming you guys are kind of
I
getting out
told
too.
them one of our people was semi-disabled, looks at Akron, to get a lower floor.
I'm immediately going to hunch over and say, "Ow, my back! I'm going to need some assistance."
Oliver actually laughs at this. He slings his bag over his shoulder. He's just like looking like, "Are you guys ready to go?" And he does look at Ray and he says, "Have you worked out what to do with the vehicles?" It could have been part of your conversation with the person up front. Basically, you'll have to pull the vehicles around to the rear of the hotel where they have their parking inventory, and the cars and the car and the truck will basically be turned over to hotel staff and will be stored in. It's not a conventional parking deck like today. It's more like
You roll your truck in and it like catalogs it and
Yeah,
wheels it
yeah.
off somewhere.
yeah, pretty much.
So I informed him that if he wants anything out of the truck for our 2-day stay, he might want to go get it now because they will be stored.
He eyes the truck for a second, and then he kind of hefts his backpack like he's feeling how heavy it is. And he says, "No, I'll be fine. Just make sure it's locked up tight."
Because like this hotel, it's got that type of parking deck where basically you pull it in and then it catalogs it and stores it in a underground / above ground facility.
He looks
Sort
like
of
that's
like a deck of
acceptable.
cards, yeah.
Like that's a very secure way to store vehicles.
I'm just imagining like you pull up and like it goes whoop, and drags it into a building and then you never see it the rest of the process.
That's exactly what happens. All right, so you've got Twitch to drive the truck around, and I assume
It's like, Twitch, bring the truck around back. Mr. G says he doesn't need anything out of there, so we'll just go ahead and store it.
So you guys go into the lobby. He kind of looks around appreciatively. You guys are definitely not the normal fare here. Like,
We look decidedly out of place here.
yeah,
Probably.
even he does a little bit.
I'm surprised they didn't ask for security deposits up front.
But he is very, comfortable
Maybe
wherever
she's
he's
looking
going.
at me like maybe I should have asked for security deposit up front. Looking at this crew.
Once she sees Marcus and Phrixus, maybe she has that kind of thought. She's just a little bit weirded out by Akron, who's kind of hobbling across the lobby. Oh, my back! Oh, my back!
Yep.
Like
I want to give her a little nod, the little like "How you doing?" as you walk by.
She hang on. Roll a luck save.
Oh boy, this is
That's
How
going to be
many-
a D20, and your target number is 13 or higher.
Hey, she got 13.
Yeah, she blushes, and she seems a little bit distracted now, like from the weirdness of everybody else. She blushes and she looks down and she cuts her eyes back up to you as you kind of crossing the lobby. So yeah, you get to the lifts.
She goes, maybe
Um,
this group isn't as bad as I thought.
I don't think she's thinking about the group anymore. And I assume you all pile into a lift. it might be a little bit uncomfortable. These are like extra large elevators. They're supposed to cater to pretty much every of the normal galactic species, but like there's still a lot of you, and maybe it's a little uncomfortable getting so close to Phrixus, who is obviously kind of aggressive. Like he likes his personal space, but everybody fits in. And I guess you're heading up ahead of Twitch.
Who's probably storing the well?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably storing the truck. We hit number 9.
So you head up to the 9th floor. Elevator shoots up, but it's got dampers on it, so you're up there in no time. You get out, and it's a fairly well adorned place. It's not like overtly ritzy or anything. It's fairly subtle. And you make your way to your rooms.
As on the way up to the room, I take note of like fire escapes, stairwells, that kind of thing.
Okay. Yes, technically you do have stairwells. They're very ever rarely used, but yeah, you can take note of them.
I'm interested in entrances and exits out of the room, including balconies, ventilation systems that could fit even a small killer probe, anything along those lines.
All right.
Ray looks at you and goes, "Man, this guy is mega paranoid." Like, it like the paranoid level before was like, it's about a 3. It just went to like 7.
Yeah. If he died, I don't get paid.
All right, so who's staying in which rooms?
All right. Well, I'm going to tell you. Let's see here. I'm going to draw a very quick map to give you an idea of the layout. And you guys can feel free to describe some of your actions while I'm doing this.
Definitely be going through his room with a fine-tooth comb. Any way into it or out of it, that's what I want. I make sure that there's some sort of monitoring on it as soon as the resources show up.
I didn't tell them we were expecting a package. You might want to go and wait. I'm like, how did you get your stuff delivered, Akron? Is it like coming by?
I was thinking I might be able to go pick it up tonight, but
How did you order it? Did you have it like drone mailed, like Amazon Prime, or?
If drone mail exists here, I would definitely have gone with that approach. Probably scheduled it.
What
to show
address
up,
did you give them?
The hotel. I would have given it to them the hotel address, and I would have addressed it to. Probably would have had it addressed to you, actually, Ray, if I could have gotten your name. I'm sure you would. You have given me your full name. I don't want to stick my name in the line here in case this goes fishy. But if you've got a clean record, you're as good a name as any to be running under right now.
I just became the face person for this criminal group.
Yep.
That face.
Kind of what I was thinking. You got a squeaky clean record. You're the person that we want them looking at.
Only thing that would possibly be my record is maybe shit. What's it called?
Turn out hilarious.
Can't bring alien stuff to other planets type thing. What is that?
Wanted in 25 systems and just told us you didn't have a record. That'd be great.
Customs, that's what I'm thinking of. Stuff like that, but... That might possibly be the only thing on there, if anything.
Is there any other way in or out of his room other than through the door?
There is a balcony.
Do they have like
overlooks
privacy
the,
screens
overlooks
between the
the
two balconies?
Yes.
Definitely want to keep those closed, and as soon as I get my hands on the monitoring equipment,
I
definitely want to
have
put something up there.
numbered the rooms that you guys have rented. The 918 is actually at the end of the hall. Let me put another door in here. So 918 is actually at the end of the hall. The way this tower is set up is it's kind of like broken up into little blocks. Presumably because it's so big that if there's ever an event of fire or something, each block is supposed to be kind of sustained to where fire cannot spread to another block.
Fire detected in Block Z.
Yeah.
Stealing Block Z.
So like there's actually
You're fucked if you're
another
inside.
there's actually another corridor to your left, but it's very similar to what you have. And then beyond that, there's like your central elevators and whatnot. But they're very much self-contained a little bit. The rooms, excuse me, on the side that 915 is on are all interior rooms. The side that are on 914 and 918, those are like exterior, like that's the actual corner of the building.
And I informed them that I booked for 2 days.
Okay,
So,
he
in case we need it.
he thinks that's unnecessary, but not a bad idea.
If we don't use it, we can possibly get your money back. If we cancel, perhaps. But if we would happen to need the room for 2 days.
So, Akron, which room are you guys putting him in?
The least combat effective, I'd probably volunteer to take 918 and get my computer hooked up to any surveillance stuff once it shows up. But the guy with the biggest, biggest guns and ability to punch people's heads off closest to him, I think.
Probably have 2 people per room. He looks at Ray looks at Marcus and is like, "Do you want to stay with our charge? You seem to have the biggest gun, so to speak."
Marcus is just going to kind of shrug.
What room do you guys want to put Oliver in? 914 or 915?
Probably the interior room. Less entrances.
All right, yeah. He'll look a little bit not necessarily miffed.
Unless he wants the view, but
he does.
I mean,
He does not make a
it's
big
his
deal
stay.
out of it.
No balcony now?
If
just from a defensive standpoint,
yeah, he doesn't.
the
He
interior
won't
room
have
is
he won't have a
better.
balcony. He's basically just interior. He won't make a big deal out of it. If somebody mentions anything, like it would be safer if you were in
That's
across
what
the
I say,
hall.
basically.
He'll say, I've had much worse accommodations than this, and I've only got to put up with this for one more day.
I mentioned to Akron, maybe give him a video feed of the balcony. You know. I know it's not as good as being there, but
I think I'm going to attempt to.
All right. So the
See
real
if I can-
question is, who is rooming in 914, and then who is rooming
and
with
who's
Akron?
who's with the
Are you shoving
the alien?
Yeah. Are you shoving Carthen? Are you shoving the Carthen with Akron in 918?
The Carthen is probably more. I'd probably room with Akron and put Twitch in the Carthen in 914.
Okay. All right.
Because they're more combat type. Well, they can be. Depends. More defense up front is the point, but an Akron is more surveillance.
Yeah.
Oh,
All
of
right.
course, I'll insist on keeping our blinds closed as well.
It's like you walk into the
The
room
question
and all
becomes:
the lights are out. And
is your
blackout
surveillance
curtains.
equipment wired or wireless?
Wireless, I would assume.
I'm saying, are we running wires down the hall? I mean,
I would assume he bought wireless
Microphone
equipment.
activated.
That's why it's expensive.
Okay.
So
if you all
yeah,
disagree with what I say something. I'm just.
you show everybody into the room. You guys can see the map, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right, good. You show him into the room. He just chucks his bag down onto his bed. He's done this before. Anybody who knows anything about the Galactic Union Marines knows that those guys are packed into basically ships and sent on like travel that takes months because they actually fight across sectors. So he's definitely probably used to really shitty ass accommodations. I love the little camera drone. That's great.
How are you hooking these up to Akron?
You don't have to ask all of these. I am basically just assuming that these are small surveillance devices. Like we already have kind of these things today.
I'm just saying, I had pictures of, like, you know, the classic hanging security cam outside the door, and I was like,
I was thinking these were more like, these are fairly unobtrusive little black
buttons or something.
Yeah,
like buttons or hemispheres that you could just kind of stick to a surface. They're not very big and they don't really stand out too much, especially in a hallway like this.
Okay, that was my concern.
Yeah,
So
that's
you
kind of what I was thinking they would be like. So yeah, if
so
they were
you're
bigger
you're,
than
you're
that,
setting up you're setting up video cameras outside of this door. Do you have anything else, other form of surveillance going on?
I want to put something in there to sweep for any electronic activity, any spike in electronic activity, or I guess communication, like Wi-Fi communication. If there's like a drone or something in that vicinity.
All right, we'll say
Primarily bugs, though, especially.
bought 2 packs of surveillance gear. One of them was your cameras, and then one of them is like your bug sweeping equipment. Let's see here. Do you want to argue that this would be computer or post-tech?
I would be okay with either, whichever you feel makes more sense.
Doesn't really neatly fit into either, but I will let you roll a computers check just because this is a more technically minded thing. I sort of view post-tech as a lot of the mechanical things. Well, actually, I guess yeah. Let's roll post-tech. Your score is a 0. That's a good roll. All right, so yeah, you sweep his room, and you discover no bugs.
Excellent. Always good news to hear that he's not anticipated.
Yeah.
Sorry if I've been kind of out of it. I've been dealing with a little brother not remembering his Minecraft password and failing for an hour to try to recover it.
Oh, that's a terrifying feeling, I'm sure. Yeah, it's fine. Just trying to keep this going, not too boring. So yeah, you guys settle in. What do you do? Do you guys just literally stay in your rooms? Do you guys have like open compad frequencies between each other like at all times? That'll kind of run up your bills, but it's not gonna. I mean, you can technically do it. Like, do you have like a group chat? Like, do you have all your compads plugged into the wall chargers, like laying on a table, and you got it on speakerphone, so you're like basically conferencing between the 3 rooms?
That's okay. It's free mobile to mobile, right?
That's what I was thinking. If I hook up the data slab, it could even act as like a little Wi-Fi router for the other CompuPads.
Oh, it definitely could.
No, there's an
Yeah, it
actual
definitely
item
could.
for that, the comm server.
Yeah, but he could definitely use this as like for
range.
multiple rooms. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like thinking it would be like only
This
kind
comm
of like
server's
Wi-Fi
like
is today.
40
Dual Wi-Fi
kilometers or
hotspot.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this isn't anything that big.
Does anybody have anything they want to do?
I want to set up a motion detection program, so every time it detects motion in the hallway, that it'll ping, so I'm aware that it's
I check out the
somebody's
view
moving.
from the balcony
All right.
while
Yeah,
Akron is
it
setting up his stuff.
It's a pretty gorgeous city. There is a reason why a lot of people from across the sector come here to retire, aside from the fact that there's a little bit less in the way of restrictions and regulations. It's just a very, very beautiful planet. It's like 85 or higher percent water, and like the islands and the few continents there are, very small continents, are fairly heavily populated with cities. A few of the islands are a little bit more exclusive. The city that you're in right now lies right on the water, at least on one side. And you guys know that there's been advertisements up in the coming month for the Centron Classic, which is kind of this regatta that has been going on since the Scream, like before the planets were reconnected. And it's just like it's a very bustling, kind of clean city. It's as clean as a city of multiple million people can be.
You did give him a camera view of the balcony, right?
If he wants one, I'd be happy to hook him up a camera that aimed at the balcony if he wants one.
Max is on surveillance outside.
He shrugs it off.
I
So
mean,
Max is outside on. How do you get him outside? You open up the balcony and you
It's
stick
a window,
him out there?
right? I'm sure it opens.
Yeah. You aren't super high up, so you're not going to have to worry about wind shear. I know on the upper floors, they actually have to have force fields to make sure people don't get blown off the balconies. These aren't like force fields that can repel blasters or anything. It's more like just anti-wind repellent. But yeah, if you got him out on the balcony, that's perfectly acceptable. So does anybody have anything they want to do for the night? Like he says something about maybe going down and getting some dinner. Marcus, you're raiding the mini bar. He's totally in with that. Like you open it up and he's like right there and he's like, what do they have? What brand of space whiskey are you serving?
Just grab the very first thing in there.
Yeah, he's totally down
That's
with
pretty
that.
good.
Yep. he takes one and he kind of salutes you with the bottle and he puts it back.
Yeah, cheers, boss.
He while everything is going on in the other rooms, he doffs his jacket. How close attention do you pay to him?
I mean,
Just
I'm
like
gonna follow him around.
Just
if he goes
enough to
someplace.
watch him, or do you like actually study him, like to see what sort of person he is?
Not like scrutinize, but if there's anything obvious to notice,
All right. Well,
I'll
you
try
will
to catch that.
notice. You will notice that he pulls out a fairly high quality handgun from his bag, and he sets it down on the nightstand.
Do I
it sounds-
recognize the make or anything?
Just
as a point of small talk.
yeah. It is a. It is. Well, what brand of pistol do you kind of respect?
What do you mean?
You can make one up. If not, I can pull from a list.
Yeah, I got nothing.
All right. Where did that go?
Mostly the reason I'm asking, if I recognize that it's a nice, high quality firearm, I want to, inquire. Oh, nice gun, blah blah blah. That's all.
It is actually a ZXR a ZXR brand pistol. You know that they primarily manufacture railgun devices. Like this is a very high quality weapon. And it is, if my PDF will stop fucking freezing, Jesus. It's actually a mag pistol. So it's pretty heavy duty. Yeah, he says, left over from my days in the Marines. I've had this God, he kind of scratches his head. 13 years? I guess you bond over your shared
Yeah.
interest in firearms. He asks if you want anything to eat. He's probably gonna order something.
As long as you're buying.
Yeah, so he puts in an order on the room service panel, and he actually orders like food for everybody. So
Is this getting like delivered up to us?
yeah, it'll take a little bit, but he doesn't really inform everybody. He's having room service delivered to all 3 rooms. He's kind of guessing at what people might generally like. He's actually kind of got a lax attitude about food being from the Marines. People eat everything in his view.
So I'm not aware that he's ordering room service yet, correct?
No, not unless you're keeping close tabs on him. He's just doing this kind of in his own room.
I copy that.
So yeah, 15 minutes later, there is a knock at each of your doors.
Well, but I've actually caught the. They're all coming up at the same time.
It's one person. It's one person with a tray. Like it's not a simultaneous knock at everybody's door. Like there's somebody coming up on the cameras. You see somebody, obviously room service, coming up. You've seen a couple people coming in and out of their rooms, but this is obviously somebody for the first time has stopped at room 914 first, where Twitch and Phyrexis are staying, and is knocking on the door.
Probably gonna call over
I'll have a
and
look
ask.
out the people first, which shows you what you just said, and then I'm gonna open the door to get the room service.
Yeah, it's a human male, kind of average build. He's got some containers with what appears to be food, and he says 915 has ordered food for all of you.
Oh,
He
wonderful.
kind of looks quizzically okay, and he moves the cart in and lets you basically take your pick from all the orders.
What was ordered?
I don't know. What do you think is on there? Like, there's this being Centron. There's kind of an overabundance of seafood of various sorts, but they've got some other things there too.
Depends
Most
how much you
notably,
paid for the food.
the Centron Ultra Lobster is
If there was a lobster
is a primary
and it's already
export.
been paid for, I would totally take that.
Yeah, it's very common on this planet.
I'd definitely be calling
That's for
probably
just what he
Twitch,
wants.
seeing if I could get Twitch to escort the food to 915.
Okay.
Move that way.
So, Ultra Lobster, Marcus. You don't want to know how big those things are.
Did I get this? Is it a whole
Like-
ultra lobster? Is it,
No.
I do.
or
No,
is it just part of one?
this is like you. It's not recognizable as a lobster, except it is what you think is being served in a plate, like a red plate. It's
What
kind
color
of
is it?
squarish. Like it looks like lobster.
Is it blue?
But what I'm getting at is it's like a plate full of just already shelled lobster.
It's a whole cart
and,
of just one lobster tail.
No, just this one plate. If you've spent any time, and I guess since you're really interested in biology, you would know that the
Foster's
Centron.
Ray.
Oh yeah, that's right.
To bring that up when it gets to her room.
You've been on here for a while. You've been on Planet for a while though. The Centron Ultra Lobster is as big as some small boats.
Oh. a big
And so
lobster.
you have like and
We
it's
have a
covered
lobster to
in
share.
scales, and you basically have your own scale full of lobster. It's the primary export of the planet, aside from whatever is in space.
Okay.
So you take one of those. Phyrexius has been kind of sulking in one corner the entire time. Like maybe he's been playing like Super Tetris on his compad, but he he comes up and he smells food and he picks out like a large side of what is some sort of red meat that's dripping, and he looks a little bit more voracious, and he grabs that and he takes it over to his table in the corner. You notice his he's been on his compad quite a bit. He hasn't really been talking to you. He hasn't been like totally ignoring you, but he doesn't ever engage like himself. So do you escort the food over to the next room?
I don't really see a reason to escort.
All right, so you don't see the point. So Akron, you just see Twitch take his lobster and go sit down, and the waiter takes it over to the next room.
Probably gonna complain bitterly about this to Ray.
Marcus, there's a knock at the door.
I'll like make
Oliver-
a motion to Oliver. I'll get it and
Okay.
kind of
Yeah, he pokes
up
his head
to-
up
to get it.
from his own compad. It looks like he's reading something. He says it's probably the food.
All right, we'll go open the door. Have a
Yeah,
look.
same guy. Four platters of food on there. You're basically able to pick them up and look through the lids to see if there's anything appetizing.
Want you guys to get a picture in your minds of like Wile E. Coyote like licking his lips, like, oh yeah, here we go.
What do you pick out on the food cart?
Well, I'm intrigued now. I need to have like the local specialty ultra lobster.
Okay, yeah, you get a chunk of ultra lobster. I think they know enough that they when they have kind of the variety thing sent up, they at least have 2 servings of ultra lobster. The guy kind of smiles a little bit, like fucking tourists or something. As you take the ultra lobster.
Ray would comment that that's actually a small lobster.
Yeah, he probably would. And then Oliver kind of comes around behind you. He's looking, and he takes a plate of what is basically pasta. It's not like straight up spaghetti. It's kind of their version of spaghetti. It's not straight up, but
It's space pasta, right?
it's pasta. He takes that, and he heads back to the table. And the cart moves
Akron,
on.
where I come from, lobsters are the size of trucks or bigger.
So yeah, this
These are just babies.
So this knock at the door at 9:18. One side note, Akron, I am going to have a very hard time keeping up with text chat because for some reason it is no longer making noise for me whenever somebody types something in. So if you've got something you actually want to do or ask about, just speak up. Don't feel bad about interrupting me.
No problem. Cool, thanks, man.
So yeah, at your door, there's a knock. Who opens it?
I guess I would open.
All right, you open it up. There's a guy with a submachine gun there. He hoses you down. You're dead.
Oh shit!
Oh, I'm joking.
New character time. I was like, fuck.
I'm just thinking like, yep, glad I didn't open it.
Damn, upscale
That's
building.
This is actually what plays out in Akron's mind. Like as he's on the other side of the room, like behind a strategically placed table, he sees Ray get gunned down just for a moment, and then he realizes it's actually food being delivered, and he's like, okay, not this time. What do you guys take?
I wasn't here when the description of what was there.
No, it's basically what generally is your character into food wise.
I'll take the greasiest thing they've got.
She wants
Okay.
nothing to do with any kind of seafood. She'll take a steak or something if it's there.
Okay, yeah, there's basically a steak, and in Akron, they have the sector-renowned Centron burger.
That's what I'm eating right now. That's why I said that. But anyway.
Yeah, I'll totally grab that.
Okay, all right.
The
Yeah.
greasiest, fast foodiest thing they've got.
It is the Centron burger is like the size of almost 2 normal cheeseburgers,
Ray looks at
and it
Akron,
is just it is dribbling
upscale
with cheese.
building. That
I'm
was
actually getting a
paid
little hungry now. Thanks.
$2,700 for that,
I'm gonna set it to the
and
side.
you want a
though.
Centron burger.
I'm gonna wait for at least like 20 minutes if other folks
to see
eating
if Ray
before I'll
dies
say,
of poisoning.
Yes.
And Ray's sitting there going, "This is the best steak I've ever had. It's definitely much better than seafood."
Well, I'll be asking if you're feeling okay in 15 minutes or so, and then maybe start considering eating my burger.
All right, so
She takes pains to make the steak look exceptionally delicious.
everybody's eating except for Akron. Akron, specifically, how long do you wait to eat?
20 minutes.
What are you doing in this time?
I'm gonna see if I can. Actually, what would be the odds of me getting onto the hotel security camera network? Is something that looks like it'd be feasible for me to do, or something that would most likely result in disaster?
You could attempt it. Let's see here. The security network is definitely high scale, which is something that probably relieves you a little bit. It would be difficult, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. The real thing is if you were caught doing this.
Yeah, I won't leave you the chance of doing it as cautiously as possible. Like that would be my biggest concern, even if it meant it was less of a chance to actually succeed.
Yeah, you know that it's going to be more difficult to actually just hack into this than maybe you've kind of been browsing the local wireless just to with your compad to see what's up, and you've kind of been taking stock of their security. You notice that it's like a high grade security system that's it comes as a package, but you don't notice a whole lot of actual traffic from the administrator. So like it's probably going to be a little bit more difficult for you to hack in there than it would actually be to avoid detection. This is going to be like a 2-part check. You're going to want a 9 on a computer's check to actually hack into the network, and this will give you a 9 will give you limited access. The check to see if you are detected by building security will be a 7.
So they're unrelated checks. If one fails,
No,
then
it's
the other...
one check. If you roll a 9, you succeed on both. If you
Oh,
roll a
I
7,
see. I see
you
what you're
basically
saying.
succeed in not getting detected, but you don't break in.
Okay.
And you know this in advance, so you can decide not to do it if you want.
It's worth noting that security is a separate skill from computer. So, just take note of that.
Oh, it is, isn't it? Let me look at the definition here.
Is that like physical security stuff, or is that
I
like...
am looking that up right now. Page 16. Security. Security. The character is familiar with primitive and modern security systems, both in setting them up and defeating them. The character can pick a lock, defeat a retinal scanner, circumvent a pressure sensor, and otherwise attempt to overcome security measures. Now let me take a look at the computer skill. Computers is a character skilled at operating and programming computers, as well as operating most advanced communication systems.
Seems like the camera stuff that I'm doing would probably actually be a security, like an untrained check if I had to do that.
Yeah, but like just setting them up has not been any sort of check.
Not anything fancy with them right yet.
And just operating the anti-bug stuff was really more of a can you operate things that are developed in this century. So that's more of a post-tech. You know, I'm not really sure where to come down on this. I
think a computer
I think
might work.
I think
But
you
then-
can make this with a computer's check. We'll say we'll say you can make this with a computer's check. You're not specifically hacking into like a retinal scanner or something. You are hacking into the hotel like network. So, you know, we'll just go from there. Make a computer's check if you so desire.
I am so glad I've got that reroll. Or I probably wouldn't
Macron,
try
you
this.
sure you don't want any of this steak? It's so delicious.
I'm going to use my reroll.
Okay. All right. So you avoid detection, but you come just shy of actually getting into the network.
Thank God I had that reroll. That could have been
Yeah.
much worse.
That actually was going to be on the south side of Bab. So you're paying attention to doing this. Like at first you start setting off some alarms in the system. You're like, oh fuck, and then you start backtracking and you start losing.
And Ray
you know,
looks
the
over at
alarm.
him going, what the fuck are you doing?
So
Make a
when
lot of
that's
noise.
happening, there is a knock on the door, Marcus, in 9:15, while you are eating with Oliver.
I'm gonna give him like a really put out look, like really while we're eating, and then go very grudgingly open the door.
All right. Will you please make an evasion check?
I look away for 1 second.
I will do that as soon as I know how many dice to roll.
Yeah, it's gonna be 2d6. Anything but an attack roll is usually 2d6.
Right.
And your evade is a 14.
Right. Okay.
Well, the
Well,
evade's
it'd
a save, so it's 1d20, right?
D20, right?
Oh yeah, that's true. My bad.
Saves are D20.
We haven't done this so many times yet that I've got it down. So 1d20.
Oh.
Marcus.
Ooh.
Alright.
Oh God,
Um,
man.
You open the door and you see a guy standing there. And like maybe you've got a little bit of ultra lobster like still sticking out of your mouth.
Yeah.
And you're like, God, did this guy seriously order more food or something? And you're mid chew, and you open the door and you just see a pistol right in front of you. I gave you that evasion check just to see. All right, I'm gonna roll his attack.
Good thing you got armor, Marcus.
Yeah. You wanna toss me one of those rerolls there, Akron?
Oh, you have a combat reroll.
Yeah, he can
That's
shrug
your
off damage
specialty.
if he wants.
It's not a reroll.
Yeah, I
I'll
guess
just
that's
choose
true.
to ignore a shot.
Yeah. One time.
Yeah. Let's see here.
Well, see, if this
Might
goes
have to be
badly,
this
you
time.
could say it doesn't happen, but
Marcus, what is your AC?
It is 4.
Okay. Yeah. He plugs you in the chest.
Damn.
This looks like this guy was just waiting there, like cold as ice. And as soon as you open the door, he fires, and you hear this loud bang. And where's my damage roll? There's my damage roll.
That's not a damage roll.
Oh God, max damage.
you might want to re-roll that,
You
Marcus.
take 7 damage. Well, you don't force a reroll. You basically just ignore it.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to do that shit.
Okay, so Marcus, you actually do take this shot, and it plugs you right in the chest, and like, you like stumble back a few feet, and bits of ultra lobster fly out of your mouth, like white puffy bits of ultra lobster. Like maybe you spray the guy, like that serves him for shooting somebody in the middle of eating dinner. But like this catches you right in your armor that you're wearing, thank God, and you are just able to power through it. Mark that you've used your
I took the X off of the thing.
Let us roll initiative. Let me bring up the page here.
Did he have a silencer, or did that just make everybody
No,
hear that?
that was not silenced. Which, if you are thinking about things, could mean bad things or could mean good things for you. You don't know. Everybody rolls initiative by rolling 1d8 and adding their dexterity attribute modifier. That's a good one.
Plus Dex.
Yeah.
Everybody's got decks.
Let me look up Pharixus's dex. In the event of a tie, the closest player on the GM's right side goes first. I'm gonna say you go first, Ray, instead of the NPC.
Well, I am to your right as far as the pictures go.
That's true. All right, let me set up the initiative order.
So what that really says is the first person to log in after the DM.
Now, do we set our own, or do you set everything in this one?
I believe I set it.
Yeah, I
just
can't seem to do anything with it, so yeah, I think so. I just felt like Marcus was like, "Yep, complimentary peephole." Nope. Just open the door.
Well, I mean, like, he's been bothered by people.
Yep,
He
yep,
looked
yep.
through the peephole before.
Yeah, man.
Like, man, I'm
eating
eating
ultra
here.
lobster. I don't have time for that shit.
Oh, you should visit Ray's homeworld, really. You remember Disney's that Atlantis movie and the giant robot crab, the giant robo lobster? They got those for real.
On Ray's homeworld, the lobsters eat you.
Okay, does that look correct to everybody? I'm assuming everybody can see the turn order box.
Yep. Just okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I did last.
All right, and for anybody curious, the combat round is described on page 61 of the book. Just in case you need to look something up. I know I will probably have to. All right, so Ray, you are eating your
My delicious steak.
delicious steak, and
And I hear what is either a gunshot or a very large, heavy box being dropped.
yeah, it sounds a little bit more on the gunshot side. It sounds like it's coming down the hall. What do you do?
The gunshot is coming down the hall, or
Well,
there's a...
coming from down the hall.
Okay. I glance at Akron's camera set as I head for the door of my gun.
You see two men standing outside of this door. and one of them is clearly in the doorway, and the other one seems to have his back to the wall and is like keeping watch.
All right.
Is there seriously no way to edit a name? Oh, I was gonna make it Thugs. Just
I'm not sure how this works in this game, but can I? I've moved to the door. Can I still open it and call out to them to freeze where they are?
oh yeah, definitely.
All right. I open the door and I call out to them to stop where they are while holding my submachine gun to my chest, like kind of on the outside of the door.
So you level your submachine gun,
Yep.
and you see them like. At least the one that's covering the hallway, like, turn an alarm, and he starts to raise his gun. But that's unless you actually do anything. He's like,
If he's
not
looking
doing
aggressive,
anything.
I'm looking to spray a burst around his feet.
He's definitely looking aggressive.
All right. I spray a burst into his legs, or try to.
All right. His
I'm guessing that's
AC.
combat.
Let me see here. His AC is it actually that? Yeah, his AC is 4.
Utter shit. So I have to
Yeah.
spray all over the place, but not him.
You tear up the wall beside him, and a little bit further down the hallway, maybe a little bit shamefully, like there's like a
Like, oh god, what did I just do?
there's like a 10-foot stretch of wall that now has bullet holes in it. But he at least looks very, like
It's only 3 bullets. It can't be a huge amount of bullets.
it's still, they're All right, so now we move on to Phyrexius. I'm going to ask things a little bit in out of order here just to get the picture of what's going on in the room. Twitch, what exactly would you be doing in the first few seconds after this?
Well, I was probably laying on the bed eating lobster. So,
Okay.
about hearing the gunshot, I'd probably look out the lobster, sigh a bit, put it down, stand up, and probably start heading toward the door.
Okay. All right. I'm basically going to let you say that you're doing that before your turn comes up. Just for the way things move. Let's see here. Max is out on the balcony, correct?
Yes.
All right. So, what is your AC?
Against a gun, it's 9.
Okay. All right.
Actually, it would be 8 because of Dex, but
Because the leather jacket doesn't affect firearms. As long as they're Tech 3 or higher.
Okay. All right. But you are wearing something that. Okay. You hear the heavy footsteps of the Carthan coming up behind you, like you're, in the process of, I guess, looking out the peephole or something.
yeah, that would be the first step.
Perhaps some sort of. Let me see here. Yeah. He. You can't see him, but let me make a roll. All right, you feel the air behind you shift, and like somehow, maybe you're able to. You just feel something that's not right. You turn to look, and because you're turning, this pistol whip goes right past your head. It slices across your hair almost, and and the Carthan, Pharixus, is like right behind you, and he has just very clearly swung his pistol at your head.
Lovely.
And basically, like that is his turn. Like he's attacked you, but you've barely managed to dodge out of the way. Marcus, it is your turn.
Am I still standing up, or did I get knocked down by that
You
shot?
got knocked back a couple feet, but you are standing up.
Okay.
Beside you on the table is Oliver's mag pistol, if you are not using your own weapon currently. Aside from that, like where is your weapon? Are you holding it, or did you leave it over by your bed?
I mean, the pistol would be in a holster. The rifle's probably still in its case somewhere.
Okay, so do you draw your pistol?
Yeah, here's the phrase, motherfucker, and then pull the pistol and shoot at the guy.
Okay, all right. So you draw your pistol and you fire at him. He's got 4 AC. Yeah, no good. He sees you pulling it out, and he has time to kind of step to the side of the door a little bit, and your shot goes wide. You can still move.
I'm gonna go. I mean, is this like the standard layout of most hotel rooms?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
modern hotel rooms.
There's
Yeah.
there's a pair of beds to your back. There's like a mini bar area to your side with a bathroom somewhere, and
Yeah. Is there a minibar like actual little bar, or is it just like the little fridge thing?
it's the little fridge thing, but it's
Okay.
nicer than today. It's like actually set.
It's not a thing I could hide behind, because obviously
No.
I would hide behind the minibar if there was a bar.
No.
I'll kind of hide just behind the wall of, I'm guessing like a the restroom or something like that.
Yeah. So you bolt for the restroom.
I mean, just outside, not in the. It's still in the room, not not hiding in the bathroom. But
Okay.
You come into the room, and immediately to your right, there's the restroom.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, you're there. You're ready. You're up against the wall with your gun pointed
Yeah.
at the door. Oh, there is one person I did not roll initiative for.
Dog number 2. I'm crouched in the corner of the door going, Akron, you got a weapon?
He's like, I have my magnificent brain. It's all the weapon I need.
Akron is like, silence, looking at Ray.
I actually gotta wonder, is the balcony connected, or is it like very separate balconies?
It's like, you go out and there's a concrete wall between them. I mean, that's the way I imaged it as, but that's why I said there was privacy barriers.
Yeah. You could feasibly get to the other balcony, but it would require some balls and
Or
like
100
some
No.
drop.
check.
Yeah, not trying that. There's some balconies I've seen where you could possibly pull that off, but if it's not like that here, then no. Since I have no weapon, man. It's like, I don't know if he's not, one thing I'm regretting not asking if he's in any legal trouble, because I would be calling 911 otherwise. The equivalent of 911.
Well, yeah, the chances are, I mean, it was a high-scale place, and they already had a gunshot.
They probably already called. They heard gunshots.
Yeah.
Oh, it's my turn, actually. Holy crap,
Yeah,
I didn't
it's
realize
your
that.
It's your turn. That's
I
all right.
thought I was knocked down after. I was just talking to you guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. I actually just bumped you up because I just noticed you had a tie. I'm giving ties to the players in initiative.
You know what? Do I have the front desk number?
This is
You
room
can certainly
914.
run across the room and slam your hand on like the comm button that's basically, like their version of a phone, and I am certain that there's like a big red button that gives you the front desk.
Alright, I think I'm probably going to try to run over there, hit it, and tell them there's a mass shooting happening on this floor.
Okay. All right. You press the button, and you just hear like someone at the door says, "Front desk, how may I help you?" And then, like maybe she hears like a gunshot over the over the comm link. Maybe I don't know. What do you just say? Like, there's a mass shooting going on up here. She says,
There's
"Sir?"
a madman with a gun, and I'm going to describe the guy off the security camera
There's
the
two.
best I can. I haven't seen the other guy though yet, have I? Because it's in
You've
the
seen
Twitch.
two guys out in the hall. You do
Oh,
not
there's
know.
two guys out in the hall.
You do not
Okay,
know
I'll-
about what's happening with Twitch.
Okay, I'm going to say that there are two potential terrorist mass shooters in the hall, and I'll try and give the description of the guys that I'm seeing on the camera the best I can to them. I'm sure that that's going to get some attention in the front desk with some gunfire in the background.
All right.
Did I roll anything for this, or
No, definitely not.
Hey, copy that.
You could just do that. All right, so if that's your turn, we move to the thug that's actually in the door. Or actually, no, the thug that's in the door is basically gone already. I gave him his round. The thug that Ray shot at lines up his weapon. You're standing in the door, so I think you're getting partial cover. I don't know if there's a partial cover system, but I'm probably going to give it to you anyway. What is your AC?
Against weapons, 8. Assuming
Okay.
it's Tech 3 or higher.
Yeah, he's got a pistol as well. We'll say you're getting a +1 bonus for you specifically stating you're staying in the door jam. Oh, he comes really close. He, like, plaster flies from the door jam, and it maybe like it ricochets into the room, and like Akron, you have to duck as it
Get
whizzes
down,
by.
Akron.
But yeah, he misses. It's pretty loud though, and like you hear a door open up across from you, Ray, and like
I
someone's
yell
like,
at them to stay in their room.
yeah, someone's looking out, and they're like freaking out, and you hear like screaming, like muffled in somebody's room. All right, so now
Yes,
it's Oliver's
there's
turn.
altercations. They stay in your room. As I'm ducking back in the corner.
Yeah. Oliver, he dives
User
across.
joined your channel.
He dives across the room, and he lands on his chest behind the hotel bed, and like reaches up with his hand to grab the mag pistol from the nightstand. But he's making sure to keep himself down, and then he comes up just long enough to take aim at the guy who's standing in the doorway, and he fires. One sec.
Is he grabbing his pistol off of the
Yeah.
stand or whatever?
Yeah, he is. So he is firing with a mag pistol. Oh yeah, he scores a hit. He lines it up, and he solidly plinks this guy. Let's see, damage. Oh God, yeah, this mag round just goes straight through this guy's chest. And like there's an inch wide hole straight through him, and like parts of him are splattered across the opposite room, and he just collapses, like in a huff. And right after that, Oliver like throws himself back down onto the ground. Twitch, it is your turn. You have just been attacked by what you thought was your ally. What do you do? There's been several shots out in the hallway. You're right at the door. He is standing behind you.
Okay. My first question is, can I see my backpack?
It's on your bed, right?
Yeah, or beside it possibly, but
Yeah, you can definitely see it.
I want to use telekinesis to put my shotgun to the back of his head, and then I want to roll persuade.
Okay.
That's a pretty great idea, actually, man.
I don't know who you're working for, man. I don't know what your deal is, but I'm willing to bet that I can think faster than you can move.
Let me see here. Page 26. Let me just review telekinesis really briefly.
Activates for 5 minutes. Can manipulate any object visible with my unaided vision as if I'm handling it with one hand. Force effective strength of 10. If used to attack, I get a -2 penalty.
But he doesn't know that.
40 meters per round.
Yeah, so you whip this shotgun, since fortunately the handle was sticking out of your backpack. Maybe you kind of made it there strategically to do it.
You said that earlier.
Yeah, like it rips it out of the backpack, and like his eyes go wide because nobody has had any sort of indication that you have psychic powers at all. And the shotgun comes right up to his head, and you say that. He visibly gulps, and like he's got his pistol aimed at you, and it's like he's just standing there. He's totally frozen, and he has no idea what to do about this situation.
I don't know about you, man, but as far as I know, you haven't attacked me yet. You missed. So why don't you just put the gun down and we can all work this out.
All right, so that happens within 6 seconds.
I can roll persuade if you want me to.
You know, give me a persuade roll, but I'm going to say that's not necessarily necessary. I just want to see how persuasive you are with this. There is a great chance that he's simply going to go along with you anyway because you have a shotgun to his head.
4, so it's pretty low.
Yeah. You're not a very persuasive person. Like, this is a kid with maybe a shaky voice making this argument, but he has a fucking double-barreled shotgun to his head that's hovering in midair. So he's just basically frozen there for this turn.
Yep. It's worth noting telekinesis lasts for 5 minutes for each activation.
Yep.
So.
All right, so on to Ray. You have seen the first of these thugs just get totally, not necessarily eviscerated, but like a small but like clear hole has appeared through him, and then like out the back of his jacket, and he is.
Can I still see the one in the hallway?
Oh
or
yes,
is it...
yes,
okay.
definitely so.
I attempt to spray him in the legs again.
All right, yeah. Give me an attack roll, AC 4.
Nope.
Really close. Another. Are you firing with burst?
Yeah, that's burst.
Okay. Yeah, another burst goes past him, and he ducks kind of out of the way. He's obviously like pretty freaked out, and you know it's not his turn, but he looks like he's turning to run. We move to Pharixus inside the hotel room. I wish he'd gone later because I really needed to think about him. He's gonna look at you, and he's going to take his finger off the trigger, and raise his gun up, and he's just gonna start like sidestepping towards the door. Like the gun is still in his hand, but his trigger is not in the trigger guard, or his finger's not in the trigger guard, and it's pointed up towards the ceiling. And he's keeping his eye on you as he's sidestepping.
Okay.
So yeah, if it's not technically your turn, but he's gonna get to the door, and he's gonna have his hand on the door, and he's gonna start pulling it open, and that's where I'm gonna end his turn. Let's see here. Yeah, the thug, he looks down at the body of his comrade, and he's kind of pale faced. He is going to start running down the hallway towards the door, but he is actually going to let off a shot, more or less covering fire towards you, Ray. And you said, what was your AC?
8. Because it's a
Okay.
gun. And I don't have real armor, just a leather jacket.
Nope, he misses again.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah, he plinks the wall next to you. Like that one actually maybe goes through the wall. And Akron, you hear
It's like Ray just ducks behind and just watches this bullet go flying past, like,
yeah.
a foot next to her.
Like Akron, you hear this and you see like a hole open up in the wall almost. This is like fucking crazy. And like over the open comms to the lobby, like you hear some woman screaming. And the thug just runs to the door. He makes it all the way there, and he's basically opening the door, but he's not totally out yet. Marcus, you're in the room with Oliver. Oliver is down on the ground. Doesn't look like he's taken any fire or anything. He blew somebody away. You assume you heard a huff as somebody probably died. What are you gonna do? You've heard some gunshots out there.
I'm gonna like peer around the corner of this wall and just check and make sure there's not somebody in the doorway.
Nope, not in the doorway. If you're peering around the wall, you can see this guy kind of going out of the door, and you do see the door across the hall opening up, and you see Pharixus starting to open up the door. He's got his gun in hand, although he doesn't look like he's actually looking out the door.
Okay. Can I like lean out the door and look for thug number 2?
Yeah, you see him. He's at
All right.
at the door
Gonna-
down the hall.
I'll see him down there. I'll try to hit him.
All right,
Just
4
from down the
AC.
hall. Is there in roll d20? Is there a way to just re-roll the roll you just did?
I think
Up
you
arrow.
can.
The
Yeah,
same
up
thing.
arrow.
Push up arrow and enter it again.
Oh, there we are.
It'll keep a record, I think it's like 50
Nope.
moves or something.
Yeah, you fire off with your pistol, and it like clips into the. It's like a double door. It clips into the door next to him, and he ducks and he freaks out. But yeah, you don't hit him. Do you make any further move like down the hall, or are you just staying in the doorway?
No, I'll stay in the door.
All right, yeah, that's a smart move. Akron, you've got some really frantic desk lady on the other side of this comms. Are you doing anything? Like it sounds like they're having a full-on gun battle out in the hallway.
Quick question. You said this place is meant to lock down in place of a fire, right?
That is correct.
Can I trip the fire alarm here? Will that shut the escape for the other guy out?
He actually is in the doorway, so you may be able to. This is if you are.
Oh, this could
if
be
you're
so
not-
ugly.
If you're not as concerned with being detected this time, like maybe you can play this off to the security forces. Like I was trying to help. Like
Yeah.
you're
I
not
think
gonna
I
have
would
to
very
worry about
likely do
being if you're just trying to rush job this. Like you could go to the fire alarm. Like I'm assuming you're paranoid enough to where you know where the actual fire alarms are out in the hallway, right? Like this is
Yeah,
something you would have
yeah.
noticed.
Yeah,
each
definitely.
fire alarm panel basically has like a control panel for the lockdown. So just a person setting it off doesn't like send the hallway into lockdown. It basically has like a security key where somebody who's authorized can open this up and then initiate a lockdown. If you're trying to rush it, you could you could basically just go over there and try to bash this thing open and send it into lockdown. It would be out across the hall, almost directly across your door.
I'm totally willing to do this.
Okay. Like as you're running across the room, you're gonna have to slide past Ray. You realize you're gonna have to break this thing open. There's tables in here. There's chairs. There's a lamp. How are you intending to do this?
What's the heaviest thing that they have here? Is it like a bottle or?
It would definitely be that old style solid brass lamp on the nightstand closest to the door.
And that's what I will grab on the way out then.
All right, so Ray, you like almost get knocked down in the door as Akron charges
as this lamp
past you.
goes flying by.
Yeah,
Almost get clipped by a lampshade.
He's like running with this lamp
What
raised
are you
over him.
doing, Akron?
And Akron's maybe like yelling his like little pathetic battle cry, like ah! Except instead of charging down the hallway towards the attackers, he goes straight like towards the opposite wall, and he just swings at this this panel on the wall. Let me see what sort of roll this might be.
So I kind of imagine the battle cry of him, like, instead of running, he's just rapid typing on the computer, like, I can do this, eat it!
Security?
If you're just trying to bust this thing open,
Or it might be luck.
you could be making a strength check here. You're actually not quite as shrimpy as I've been playing you off to be. That's maybe you're wiry and you've got some inborn nerd strength. So this is going to be
my weakest attribute, but
yeah, this is going to be a straight up strength roll. But I thought that was like a roll, and I was like, oh wow, he did it. It's not going to be super difficult, but it's not going to be easy. I'm going to say that your target number is going to be a 7. So it's just going to be a flat 2d6.
copy that. Oh man, crossing my fingers.
Oh no! So he bashes this thing, and like the end of the lamp, like the heavy end of the lamp kind of shatters a little bit, and like the casing breaks on this thing, and you can tell that you can get to this thing next turn, but you can't get to it immediately. And yeah, that's it. You're out in the hallway, and you see this guy is actually in the doorway. There you go. So so it's no longer Thug One's turn because he's dead as a doornail. It's Oliver's turn. He's gonna poke up from behind the bed, level his gun towards the door, and like if you're looking back, Marcus, at all, he's just basically gonna nod to you like he's covering you. But other than that, he's not gonna say anything. Like he's just kind of taking.
So he's gonna hunker down.
Yeah. Twitch, your turn. It looks like Phrixus is not gonna try to kill you. He's still armed though, and he's going towards the door like he's wanting to escape.
I know we all need the money for Ixis. That's why you're here, and I'm sure you've probably been paid. No one has known that you're not with us yet, so why don't you just put the gun down? I can't let you leave. You understand this, right? So you just put the gun down, and we'll all act like nothing ever happened. You can get paid for this job just like the rest of us.
He narrows his eyes at you, and like maybe you can tell a little bit that he's sort of afraid of you. Like maybe he's afraid of psychics. His eyes kind of glance over to the shotgun that's against his head, and he's just going for the door. Like he's already partially opened the door, like we said before.
Yeah, actually, is Marcus noticing any of that? Like, Like, I'm going to say he's not really looking for that, but is that an obvious thing? Or
You
not?
see the door opening, you see Phyrexius standing there with a gun, and maybe, just maybe, if you are acutely aware, you can see the barrel of a shotgun to his head, but it's like partially obscured and like it's maybe not something you're expecting. And there's certainly nobody there holding it.
I'm looking mostly at this assailant down the hall.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to roll persuade again.
And
If
there's
it
also
doesn't
the
work,
which way do you look at it? Is Twitch the aggressor or is the other guy the aggressor?
Yeah. ...
Yeah, he's basically so freaked out and frightened by this that was that 8 a roll?
Yes, for persuade again.
And tell me again how you're trying to persuade him. Just you can't let him go, but somehow nobody has to know. He's very confused by this.
Yeah.
Like, why?
There's no surveillance in this room. No one has to know that he tried to go against us. He can get paid just like the rest of us at the end of the job.
All right. Even though that is a fairly good persuade roll. Let me look. Yeah, he lowers his gun, and he just kind of backs up against the wall.
Take the shotgun off his head.
All right. So you move the shotgun from his head. I assume it's still pointed at him.
No, it's pointing at the roof now.
Okay. Yeah, he just kind of backs up against the wall. He lowers the gun, but he's still looking like his eyes are wide. And he's still looking like he's gonna bolt at any moment, or at least he wants to.
Yeah, well,
And
I'm out of
again,
actions for my turn, so.
Yeah, he's not saying anything. Like he's too freaked out, and like he's caught between a rock and a hard place. It looks like he's kind of panning a bit. Okay, so Ray.
All right, is the other guy at the end of the hall still in the door? Or is he
Yeah,
gone?
he is. He's in the door.
I'll take another shot at his legs, and that's probably more than 30 meters. How does that work with range?
Let me see here.
D8 plus Dex. Correct, Liz.
I believe you get a negative. There's not range increments. I'm just gonna say you're just gonna get a -1 for it. I don't recall seeing a table like saying if it's this many past their optimum range.
Yep. I just spray fire at it again. That's all I did.
Yeah, it bites into the door. He stumbles a bit. Phyrexius, he basically just passes his turn. Like he's up against the wall. He's looking around, like obviously looking for some sort of way out. He's like, don't shoot. But he's not really in a position to actually do a lot of talking or thinking at the moment. The thug, he just runs. He runs down the hall. You guys basically, see him running. You know that the elevators are down there. And there are stairs, but maybe there's not like a whole lot of other places for him to go. The door doesn't necessarily swing shut. What are you doing, Marcus?
So is the dude still in the hallway or no?
He's in the next hallway. You can imagine that looks pretty much like this, except there's a bank of elevators there instead. You could give chase if you want. You could see to everybody else. There's still this weird thing going on in the door in 914. You definitely can't. You can't take a shot from where you are.
Yeah.
If you wanted to, you could run up to where he was previously to the door and try to take a shot. But you don't entirely know if the next hallway is clear or not. Like, people have been poking their heads out to see like what the hell's going on, even though it's a really stupid idea to do during a gunfight.
Yeah, I'll chase down the hall after and get to that doorway and kind of peek through. Be kind of careful, not just barge through.
Okay, so you push this this door open, and you see him like actually just not even waiting at one of the elevators. It looks like one of the elevators was already open, and he is bolting into it.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, it looks really coincidental that that elevator was open.
Can
What are you gonna
I
do?
shoot at him? I mean, is that possible?
Yeah,
Or is the door
yeah,
just going to close?
you can take a shot at
Okay.
him.
No.
You nail a trash can, and it spills shit everywhere. Like, you're gonna have a hard time explaining that one to security. Akron, this thing is it's basically broken open. The assailant has fled. One is dead. It looks like you could probably trigger the lockdown now if you wanted.
Where's Frixus right now? Exactly.
He is in 914. You cannot see him from where you are.
I copied that, making sure he wasn't running out in the hall or something wild. But, yeah, you know what? I'm probably still going to just hammer the button real quick and then start running back, see if I can get a beat on where the guy is.
Beat on who?
Or you know what? Yeah, I don't have any way to monitor that crap. You know what? Shoot. Yeah, I'm probably just going to have to hit the button to seal this off. At least that'll keep Oliver safe. And then go back to the comm station and tell them that one of the shooters is headed down to the lobby.
Okay. So you depress this button and everybody is suddenly like alerted more by vibration than noise that there's some sort of alarm going on. Like, there is a noise, but it's only briefly, and lights come on in the hall, like red lights, and the door locks down. It's like a fire door, and it slams shut. It's really clear that if
Which
you've been
door?
standing, the one to the far left, the hallway door, people are certainly not locked in their rooms. It's basically just segments of the hotel. It's really clear that if anybody had been standing in that door, they would have been cut in half, possibly. You don't know if there's like a little motion sensor there or not that would have prevented that. So you can't be sure though. Like, it's just, with the force, if it had been unimpeded, that would have been really bad. Like, you hear a bunch of like metal moving and stuff, and it seems like it's coming from in the walls. And anybody who's familiar with like sort of emergency procedures in large buildings, you know that like Akron has basically just locked down this small section of the floor. And Akron, you bolt back into the room like past Ray. Ray's probably just like, what the fuck just happened? You hear more like of this woman screaming over the comms, like, what's going on, and you tell her that there's an assailant coming down the elevator.
I'm going to tell her that I think one of the shooters that I saw is coming down to the lobby, and try to describe him the best I can from what I saw on the security camera.
Yeah, it's basically, you basically just describe kind of a dark-skinned human with light hair, kind of big in not necessarily like a full-blown suit, but fairly nice clothes. And she's like, "What do you mean, gunman?" She's still freaking out, and she's like, "We just got a lockdown notice on floor 9."
You tell her you triggered it.
Unless somebody is going to try to somehow bash through this locked fire door and give chase, we are now out of initiative.
All right, so I run to the thug that was on the ground, and in my medical opinion, is he dead, or dying?
Oh, he's toast. Like it went straight through his chest, and like there's like a half an inch hole just been burned
Okay.
through him.
I was gonna try and get him back to 0 if he wasn't dead, but
No, he's toast.
yeah, okay.
You can see a little divot in the wall across from him where the hypervelocity round hit. You're probably not very familiar with this sort of weapon, but
No, I
it's
just looked at the hole in
super
his chest, and
powerful.
I'm going, nope, can't do anything for this one.
I'm gonna,
Oliver steps up next to
I
next to
intend
you,
to have a
Marcus, in the
discussion
door.
for Rix's.
Yeah, I'm gonna pound on the door and then just kind of turn back to him.
And he's like,
So after I look at the guy on the ground, I lean in the door of Oliver and, is everybody okay in here?
it's like we're fine in here. He looks to Marcus to make sure he's not hurt. He's like, Marcus got shot, but fortunately he was wearing his vest. It looks like.
Yeah, I'll like kind of pull the jacket open and look at the little like bullet dent.
Yeah, there was a very sizable flattened round right there. Like this would make possibly a good souvenir.
Your commemorative medal from your last encounter has a big giant bullet in it, and you're like,
But yeah, you're gonna be feeling sore for a couple days maybe. But yeah, your vest stopped it. Thank God. Like you don't know how, but it stopped it.
So, like, I'm calling, how the fuck did they find us? I didn't register in your name, I registered in mine.
So what's
Yeah,
going
what
on?
kind of trouble are you in, Green?
What's going on in 914?
Okay, I'm gonna take back my shotgun so it's not being cybernetically held anymore.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you disarm Phyrexius?
No, he can keep it.
Okay.
like- It's like, I don't know what your problem is, man, but nothing ever happened. Okay. We'll have a slight discussion with this later. We had a little disagreement about how to go about saving our charge here.
He looks really confused. He's like, I don't understand.
I've been around these kind of circles before, man. I know how these things work. Okay, I'm sure you were paid for some reason, to attack our client here, or maybe to report information. That's over now, but there's no reason why you can't get a little extra just for helping us complete the job, as it were.
So everybody, Akron, I assume you're checking in on the target too, like the mark. Like Akron, Ray, Oliver, and Marcus, you're probably all like huddled in
I was
915,
in
right?
the door checking to make sure they were
Oh,
good.
absolutely.
Twitch,
That
you
was the
good
part-
So-
over there?
So yeah, you're noticing that the door to 914 is shut, and Twitch and Phyrexius are not
like-
present.
Buzzing through Twitch's compound. You guys okay in there?
Yeah, everything's fine.
All right.
I'm gonna step out of the way of the door and suggest that maybe Ray check it out.
Check what? What? Check what out? The 914 room?
Why they haven't come out in the middle of a gunfight? That's a little
Yeah,
odd.
where are those two?
So I go and knock on the door to 914.
As this is happening, Oliver makes his way to the comm station inside the hotel room, and he starts calming the lobby to try to like if you're overhearing him and you let him do this, he's basically just trying to explain that there was some sort of gunfight, and people defended themselves, and that like they're in some sort of lockdown, and is somebody dead up here. Like he's basically just trying to explain enough of the situation to security that nobody gets ventilated when the lockdown comes down and like security comes in here.
Also, I knock on the doors to each room and ask if anybody was hurt.
Ah, okay, yeah. There's actually like a family of Riolans in the room, like directly between 914 and 918. and like these are these somewhat spidery people. Again, they're not arachnids or anything. They're kind of egg-shaped in body, and they have 6 legs. They're covered in fur. There's 2 adults, and then the children are like small sized. The children are obviously like huddled on the other side of beds that are more accommodating to their species, and all of them are a little bit trembling, but like the parents kind of like give you their version of what you would know to be
I speak
like
I
a
speak that
grateful
language.
yeah,
So,
like a grateful nod almost, like thank you. We heard the gunfire, and like they're really freaked out and like what is going on? Is there a fire?
there isn't a fire. There was a gunfight in the hallway. Just try and remain in your room for now.
All right.
I just was checking to make sure no one was hurt.
And you notice that it's just the one talking, and you can't tell if it's a male or a female with this species, but presumably, he, for lack of not calling him an it, has a translator on him, and that's how he's speaking to you.
I say that in their language.
You seem to calm him down a little bit. He still speaks to you in standard through the translator, but like that calms him down a little bit. In the other rooms, only 2 of them, the ones across, like to the right of 915, are unoccupied.
Okay.
The other ones, they have some humans in them. They don't really make any issue. Like they're freaked out, but like they're not really noticeable of any sort.
While we're waiting for something to come out of 914, while we're waiting for some kind of news from them, I'm gonna come check the thug that's been hit. I want to like search his body, see what I can find.
Okay, yeah.
So we can find some information who this guy is, or anything like that, and then is there any loot, like stuff I might, requisition?
All right, so there is a projectile pistol there. There's one spare mag. Somebody can keep track of this if they want. I'm gonna try to keep track of it as well, but I don't know how you guys are gonna be splitting
Marcus, I
this
would
up.
leave that pistol be if I were you. When the police come, they're going to be wanting to know what shot at us. I call back over my shoulder.
So maybe you hear this, and do you still take the gun? Like you're at least noting it. Like you can always just kind of kick it off.
I'm gonna take it off him, but I'm not gonna like conceal it. I'll just hang on to it. So if the police do come, I can just and they want it or something, I can hand it to them. But otherwise, I'm gonna keep it.
You know enough of local security procedures to know that they can obviously tell that this guy would have been firing a weapon in the last hour or 2.
We have Victor's security tape too.
Yeah,
so.
that's also
or Akron's
something
tape.
that's going to come in very handy.
Was actually he actually was wearing the Argus web, or no? I'm guessing probably not, given the situation.
No, you haven't basically put it on.
But you have a camera right above where they were attacking.
If you're reviewing the tapes, like you got a really nice shot, which maybe you guys will play back for kicks later.
Would have an amazing
of Marcus
shot of me
taking
missing.
around in the chest and spitting Ultra Lobster all over his assailant.
Nice.
Probably
gonna want to go and sweep his room again, doubled over, because they found him some way. Probably
so
ask him
let
if he's
me
made any
deal.
calls.
Let me deal with what's on this guy, and then we will talk about what's happening in this other room. He's got a pistol. He's got an extra mag. He's got a bulletproof vest beneath his clothing, which translates to woven body armor, although it has a sizable hole straight through it. He's got a compad and a few odds and ends, like a pocket knife and some other things that you would expect to find in somebody's pockets. And there is a credit chip. You cannot tell how much is on it. Does anybody pocket said credit chip? or is everything left on this person? Security has not shown up that you know of, but you know that like it can't be too long.
Well, security can't get into the fire doors raised.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
they're gonna have the power to raise that themselves. Already, I don't know that anybody's actually in contact with anybody over the comms aside from Oliver, who's everybody can see is talking to somebody on the comms. It sounds like he's trying to sort the situation out.
Yeah, I'm totally gonna take a credit chip. And then
Alright.
you said he had a compad. I'm gonna start kind of like looking through if there's any information
Okay.
pulled up on it or something.
Yeah, that's a smart thing to do. Never know if that's going to get confiscated or not. All right, so what's going on with you, Twitch? Like, have you opened the door to see what's gone out in the hall? Or are you interrogating Pharixus or what?
I am developing a story with him involving me choking and him helping me out while the gunfight was going on.
So, when that happens, like he's really confused, and you can tell he thinks this is some sort of trick. Like he's not stupid, but he's also not he's not a genius by any means, and you can also tell he's grown up in an area where like he just expects that if he's fucked up that he's screwed.
I'm sure there'll be a conversation like why at some point.
He's a little bit silent actually on that. You're gonna have to do most of the talking with him, and as you're explaining things, like he starts to gradually understand that you're not going to be turning him in or telling the others that this was something that he did. And like the more he understands that you're doing this, like, he's still got his gun out at his side, but it's like almost like he's forgotten it, and he's kind of looking at you in a new light. Like, are you asking him what's going on, or are you just simply coming up with a story? Like, you're not even interrogating him at all at this point. Like, to him, you're basically just helping him come up with a cover story.
Yeah, everybody needs money, so I'm sure
Okay,
that
that goes a long way with him. Yeah, he's willing to go along with whatever you say.
Yeah.
Do you guys eventually come out of the room?
Yeah, it's eventually I'll let him there, and I'll go. I guess we'll both go. We'll go check on what's going on
Okay.
outside.
About this time, like you.
Eventually, he may have asked why, and I will tell him that like everyone makes mistakes, and they deserve a second chance.
He just kind of quietly contemplates this. About this time, the alarms turn off, and there is like a banging on the fire door, and you hear like, "We're coming in," and the doors unlock and they come open, and hotel security comes in. It's a pair of guys with high-powered pistols, and they're in actual suits, business suits. And you can see like another pair of guys behind them. They've all got kind of augmented reality glasses on, and they've got you would know that these things can project like interactive interfaces. Like it's basically HUD for them. But it's also a way
They
for them to
heavy rain
communicate.
the room.
Yeah. And like they've got earpieces in and everything, and like they move in. How are you greeting them? Like they're not opening fire, but they're obviously like very concerned, and they've got their weapons up.
I put my gun to the side.
Okay.
I will put my hands behind my head and drop to my knees and say that I made the call.
Yeah, I'm just gonna holster my pistol and just kind of stand and look at him.
Yeah. By now,
Sort of
Oliver,
nonchalant.
Oliver has appeared in the doorway. You notice that his gun is not with him. If he has it on him, it's concealed. He greets them, He introduces, himself very, very plainly, like I'm Oliver Green. I've rented these rooms. And who, like you obviously they make to confiscate your weapons, and they're not placing you under arrest. Obviously, it seems more like they're doing this for procedure so that they can sort things out, and they're taking people's weapons away because in case like one of the assailants is still among you. Do you guys turn over your weapons?
With the assurance that I would have it back when they are done, but yeah.
Yeah, one of the guys nods. It seems like the guy in charge is a Vurin. He is Vurins are humanoid. They have kind of external plating with compound eyes. They have to wear like kind of refrigeration suits to keep their body temperatures regulated. They come from a very cold world. But like he's tall, like 6.5 feet tall, a little spindly, and like he gives you a nod, like he appreciates you not putting a fuss up, and he makes sure that his people take your weapon. But like the weapons are basically all taken up together and then placed against a wall.
Stacked in the corner by the elevator.
Yeah, pretty much. Does anybody actually make any sort of big deal about their weapon?
Yeah, I'm going to make a big deal about it. I just got shot at. I'm not giving my weapon up to anybody.
But one of the humans with him is like, "Sir, we're gonna have you're gonna get your weapon back." And he sees that you have like a bullet flattened against your chest. Like, "Sir, do you know you've been shot?"
Can I like roll to persuade and or intimidate a little?
Yeah. You're gonna have to tell me how you're doing it, but you can certainly make the roll.
I mean, I want to tell him just that. Yeah, I have been shot. I intend to not get shot again tonight. Thank you very much.
Okay, so you're basically playing off that, like, do you say that you're this guy's bodyguard?
No.
Okay. So you're just like, I've been shot. I'm not gonna get shot again tonight. Like, you're playing off that you're really distrustful. Yeah. Roll your persuade.
Which I have not trained in at all.
Yeah. So it's gonna be 2d6 minus 1. And you can, by the way, put your X back next to your combat ability, since it's once per combat. You've basically got it regened.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, nice. This guy is definitely not like used to any sort of combat at all. He's just like he's like your typical police officer, except he's private, and he's specifically for this hotel.
Maybe just take the
Vurin
clip out, Marcus, to be a little
he
bit.
He looks back to the Vurin, and he's like he's not saying anything, but it's the typical look, like, boss, like, I don't want to push this, like, do we need to? And the guy looks you down. He sees that you've been shot, and he looks around and he says,
like I put my gun away, so I'm not trying to like threaten.
he nods to you and he says, "That'll be fine." And he lets you. They're going to keep a closer eye on you than the other people, but they're not making you divest yourself of your defenses. So how do you guys want to go about this? Like, the first thing they do when they come in, aside from like making sure that you guys aren't openly hostile to them and getting your weapons, is start clearing the rooms.
I'm going to ask if I can return to my room for a moment, and then if they'll let me when I go in.
They shake their head and they say, "Why?"
Akron would. He has a security videotape that we had set up.
Security video.
Yep.
I'm still going to glare at Ray right now because I was going to make a copy of that before I told them I had it.
What do you mean a security video? This is actually the Vurin. He's speaking through a translator.
Ray's gonna come out flatly and say that we were hired to protect Mr. G there, Mr. Green.
Mr. Green, he nods like this is correct. And so the Vern turns to you and says, "And you have video of this?"
Yeah, Ray will nod toward the two little black circles above Mr. G's room.
He doesn't have eyes that can squint, but like you almost get that impression that he's peering towards these things, and he says, well, we have video as well. You guys have not seen any video cameras in here. You probably, at least none overt. There aren't any in your rooms you would know. Like, that would be blatantly illegal even here. But he's probably alluding to some sort of security in the hallways. Maybe not as great of an angle as yours, but like he turns to you and says, "Let's see this. It'll be. You have access to it right now. It'll be quicker than getting those guys to pull it up from security."
Might make a snide comment about the fact that
In 918.
if they've got this hallway monitored, they should have had some response here faster. I'll probably make a comment to that effect as I go to get my.
He just kind of treats you to a cold stare, and like you actually see wisps of smoke kind of coming out of his open collar of his suit, like where it's actually cold.
Cold. It'd be like refrigeration unit accelerating.
Yeah, like he nods to one of his people to go with you, and he's like, make sure he gets the recording and nothing else. And he sends one of his people to basically escort you. Meanwhile, two more people have shown up from the security force, and they've taken positions up next to the doors, or the emergency door where your weapons are now being held. And like the people have been kind of like checked out in their rooms. One person has definitely checked out the dead body. And all this is kind of going on. He informs you guys that like emergency medical services are on the way.
And I informed them that like he was dead when I got to him. If he had not been dead, I would have tried to save him. But
so Akron, you go and you get this recording.
Can I make a attempt to make at least a copy of it before I hand it to him?
With him standing there?
I mean, it's like if I could.
He is actually watching you very closely. If you want to roll a stealth check to think to yourself how you might be able to do this without him seeing you, you can.
I might do that.
I'm not going to make you just make the roll and then have you botch it and be like, you wouldn't do this, like, just overtly. So, yeah, it looks like you're untrained in that. This will be an intelligence check, though, so it's probably just going to be a flat 2d6. You think that that you can probably, if you're quick enough on the keys, when you're transferring like this recording to your data pad from like the data slab that you're using as kind of the hub for the cameras, that you can just do it twice and like make a copy yourself.
I was actually thinking an approach I might take is to move the file over to a disk and hand it to him, and then undelete the file when he leaves.
Okay. Yeah.
So he might not have
you
noticed.
don't even have to delete the file. Like you just his boss said nothing about making sure he deletes it. So like you just move a copy over from your compad.
Cool.
And you hand him this data disk, or I guess it's more like probably a cube, and he escorts you back. The commander by this point it's like on his headset talking with people. You're probably all wondering like what's going on in the rest of the hotel. You don't hear sirens or anything, but then again, this is a really big city. And it seems like he's got his people to try to split people up by rooms. not like he doesn't have enough people to totally sequester everybody, but it seems like that's what he's at least trying to do. The guard comes back, or the security officer comes back and hands him the data cube. He pulls out a compad of his own and plugs it in, and he watches the recording. Do you like move beside him to help him fast forward through all the boring bits?
Sure, I'd be happy to let him observe it. I'd be calling to point out timestamps.
Yeah, so you inform him generally when it occurred. Like, he knows from like reports when the fighting sort of started, but like you're able to more accurately pin it down. He actually goes back and he starts the recording a minute or two before, even though you tell him when it actually happened. Like maybe he's just being cautious. And he watches through. He sees like really through a fast forward. You see the food being delivered, and then you see a pair of men walk into the hallway. They've got coats on. They do not have visible weapons, and then they appear to be like talking to each other. Like in low voices. One of them is consulting a compad, like a small one that he basically just has like. You know, you recognize it is the one that that Marcus was looking at, and like they point to a couple doors. They point to 914 and 915, and right as they kind of stack up against the door, they both pull out pistols. And you know, the scene plays out as you would expect it. And you know, curiously, at no point do they seem to have your location, and they didn't ever point down the hall to 918. Is there anything anybody wants to do while this is going on? Like make any sort of explanation or okay, so you look at one of the guys, you're like, can I finish my food? The guy looks at you, he looks back at the commander, and the commander just waves his hand over his shoulder, and it's like, yeah, as long as you do it out in the hall. So like you come out with your food, and you kind of lean up against a wall, I guess, and you eat, and like the people from the room next to you are like wide-eyed, like, how is he eating at a time like this? But you're just chowing down.
When they get to the point of me firing, I do point out that I did call out to them first, and they responded aggressively.
Yeah, it's really clear from the video that at least the door was opened, and they can't see who was shot, but obviously it was Marcus. That when the door was opened, somebody had a pistol point up against it, and they fired. And it was only after they fired that, you know, your door opened down, and then you returned fire. So it's really obvious from their standpoint that at least that part of events went down how it did. Marcus, you said you investigated the compad. Did you hide that on your person, or did you leave it with the body?
No. Well, I mean, I would assume I kind of still have it, actually.
So, are you like?
But it's not like concealed. I might just have it in my hand or something.
Do you hand that over to him?
Do they ask for it?
He looks through it, and he's like, one of them had a compad. And I assume you come forward at that point.
I'll speak up. Right here, Chief, and just kind of wave it at him.
Yeah. So you hand it to somebody who hands it to him. In your brief time looking at it, you were able to glean a little bit of information. It looks like they had your room numbers written down, 914 and 915. Again, not 918. Your location at the hotel, the names, like, not even the full names, like literally just the names you guys have been going with amongst yourselves. And 915 was circled on the compad. And it was literally just like a message that was sent from another compad within like 45 minutes before the attack.
Akron's going to suggest we collect everybody's comm pads and go through the any transmission sent. Somebody had to know we were here.
The Vurin kind of looks at you and then rolls his... Well, he doesn't have eyes to roll, but he kind of rolls his head a little bit. Like, you know, this is my job, sir. And, you know, he starts ordering people to start asking questions, and then he actually starts to interrogate you guys, not very, like, aggressively, but he's actually asking questions about what went down. Does anybody... I'm going to assume that you guys relay what happened unless you tell me you are changing something.
Yeah,
Is
I'm pretty
anybody changing the events aside from what we know from Twitch?
Only thing I would be doing is saying that the reason I tried to enable the fire protection system is to seal it off so no other intruders can get to the person they were trying to kill.
He gives you a long look, and then he shrugs. He's a sensible precaution if potentially troublesome in an actual situation. He kind of oversees this. Twitch, you basically just tell him that like you were in your room choking and Pharixus was helping you.
Yeah, for the most part.
All right.
That's why I didn't get to finish the lobster.
Yeah. He finds it a little bit ironic that you're eating the lobster you almost choked on, but
It's ultra lobster, man.
yeah, man, ultra lobster.
I wanna like walk over to where Twitch is and like steal a little piece of lobster off and just pop it in my mouth.
Go ahead. There's plenty there.
Taxes.
You will forever remember this taste, Marcus, and kind of associate
As
it
what
with,
you almost died for.
yeah, like living through this as being shot in the chest. And I don't know if that's a positive connotation or negative. That's how your character looks at it. But I think forever you will kind of, when you taste this, you will remember living through this gunshot that you should have
Smell
lived
of
through.
gunpowder.
So this all goes
lobster
on.
that smelled of cordite.
Yeah, this all goes on, and you know, we're coming up on the end of the session. Basically, what happens is that the actual city police show up, and they kind of interface with the hotel security. It seems like it's they have a more professional relationship than what you would see today. Like, these people are actually allowed to enforce the law on their property. So they're not so much like rent-a-cops as like actual cops just for this hotel. They're a little bit stingy with like if you guys are asking questions, they don't really answer it first until they've got pretty much all of your information about what's happened. By the end, like there's like somebody has taken the body away for examination. Hotel staff has come in to like escort the people who are not involved, who have been cleared by the security out. Other hotel staff have come in to try to start cleaning up the mess. And your guns are eventually returned to you. And the security commander says, because we have access to this, we can tell you we're not the aggressors, but we will likely need to search your rooms for any contraband, a more detailed search. He starts to basically explain that he and it sounds like he's asking permission almost. And this maybe sounds a little bit fishy to you guys. Like, why would he have to ask permission on his own place? Like, maybe he doesn't actually have the right to do a detailed search of your belongings.
Would we know anything like that as just a kind of a culture thing?
Perhaps. Does anybody have something that might be culturally relevant?
Culture Sector 14, but that's like alien stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I only have spacer and criminal. I doubt either would apply.
Yeah, I have culture criminal. Like, would that involve
roll.
what a criminal's rights might be in getting searched?
Yeah. basically, like, you might know that, like, guest rights are really heavily enforced here, and, like, they're basically allowed to search your room for anything that's obvious, like weapons that are lying about and stuff. But he's basically asking you to search your luggage and stuff. He seems to think that, like, he takes Oliver's story at face value only so much. Like, he seems to have to try to back this story up, and, like, he's not sure that these guys are just out to kill Oliver. Maybe you guys are some sort of criminals that piss these other guys off, and he's trying to make sure, like, no drug deal or illegal technology deal is going on in his hotel.
Well, I don't have anything
Marcus,
to hide. The only thing I could possibly hide is Max. He's outside.
Yeah. Marcus, since you seem pretty keen on making sure your rights are not impinged upon, do you want to make a culture criminal roll?
Yeah, I'll try to just recall what the statute is on this world.
Yeah.
For how much you can get searched.
It's not going to be
warrants or
exact,
something.
but you're going to get, if you succeed, you're going to get the basic kind of, like, oh, they're not allowed to do this sort of thing, right?
This is 2d6, right?
Yeah, culture criminal, 2d6, and yeah, you don't have any modifiers. This is not going to be a very hard check. Yeah, you get it. So I take it you're just like, no, we're not giving you permission to search our stuff, or do you ask why or whatever? Or you just shut it down completely?
I mean, I'm not going to be rude, but I'm going to say I'm pretty sure you can't do that, buddy. Like,
okay, yeah, that was what I was expecting. He kind of sighs and he shrugs.
we would very much prefer if you did not, sir.
He says, very well. I will have to ask you all to vacate the premises, however. How does this fly with everybody else? He seems to basically be giving you, like, you're not necessarily under guard, but they're watching you. And he explains, like, he will give you guys time to gather your things. Does anybody really contest this, or does anybody, like, come up with an alternate plan? Like, you guys can talk amongst yourselves.
Can we at least stay till the morning, and then they can keep the second day's deposit for repairs necessary?
Does this strike everybody as tactically sound? I'm just gonna ask.
Yep, I think it sounds good.
What are the odds that we're going to get attacked twice in one night?
All right. So, you know,
I mean, I imagine they'd step up security.
Oliver is pretty. They're not going to let you, like, stay in the. Like, they really don't want you to stay in the same rooms. They're like, you know, we have to clean this up. This is now a crime scene.
Personally,
yeah.
I think we should collect everybody's data pads, everybody's CompuPads, because either somebody made a call, maybe not even intentionally, and tipped people off where we were, and I think we need to find a new hotel, prefer some dive somewhere, and immediately check in elsewhere. That's my personal, what Akron would be suggesting anyway.
Phyrexius
Mr. Green, what do you think about all
is
this?
very quiet. Green, he looks just, like, really frustrated by all of this. He's leaning against the wall. He's just got his head, like, his temple resting against his hand. He's not so much like, oh God, why is this happening to me? More or less is just like, oh,
It's
I
happening
thought
again.
I thought this sort of thing was over. He's like, yeah, that's whatever you want to do. It's a sensible precaution. He seems kind of tired. Marcus, do you ask to take the Ultra Lobster to go?
If we're leaving, yes.
Yeah, I mean, you paid for it. You can take those are giant ass plates of you paid 2,700 credits here. I mean,
Can I get a box for that?
Yeah, like you ask one of the passing people who's cleaning up the blood the bloody remains on the floor, if you could get a box for that lobster like over your shoulder, she like blanches, but like she has to basically do it. So like a few minutes later, somebody shows up to basically box all of your food. You guys are basically packing up, right?
I'll probably take the finest thing they have in the hotel minibar, because I figure after this PR disaster, they're not gonna complain.
All right. Yeah. By this time, the commander is now over towards the elevators, talking with kind of his interaction, his opposite number from the actual city security, explaining what's going on. Maybe you guys are really fortunate that he has actually not let city security get at you, and you haven't had to go through this whole ordeal twice.
User disconnected from your channel.
Maybe this guy is a little bit more competent and kind of respectful than he sort of lets on. And yeah, I guess you guys pack up. Oliver's tired. You guys plan to get the car, and you leave. Do you leave out out the back where the car exit is?
I would go get the car and bring it over.
Do you guys go for a refund?
I'm thinking
Ray wouldn't even consider it, being as the damage to the hotel and such. But
I'm thinking not worth the extra hassle. I'm thinking that what we do want to do though is maybe check the cars. I'm going to go out with Ray to get the vehicle so I can sweep it for any kind of tracker or anything they might have put on it.
Oh, that's smart.
Okay. While we're getting our things, I'm going to offer to Dr. Ferrix's compad. Because I know he's got something in there. Before Akron
he looks... Again, it's the same interaction as before. Like, he's really confused as to why you're helping him. Like, you've explained it to him, but he still doesn't necessarily accept. But he has no choice to go along with it. He lets you. Do you dump his compad memory onto your own or something, or do you just edit it?
I'm not going to put it on my compad, because then Akron will get it.
Yeah.
The memory from his is going on my data slab, but then I'm going to edit the criminally probably things on his compad.
Okay. Yeah, you find that he definitely sent this message to them, and that he'd actually been in communication with them and somebody else since you guys met up. I'm assuming you're not asking him any about this now. Do you ask him any
that night? But
you haven't. Yeah, you basically haven't asked him any questions. So like, you guys are waiting with what bits of luggage you have. I guess Marcus, you're probably like, you've got your to-go box and you're leaning up against the door and you're kind of like shoveling Ultra Lobster into your mouth. It's not hot anymore, but it's still Ultra Lobster. Who is checking out the vehicles? Like, checking them out both figuratively and literally.
I'd have to. I imagine I swipe a card or something, and the car begins being fetched.
Yep.
Wherever they stored it.
The ground car and the transportation truck are both kind of spat out of their system and put into a temporary parking lot.
I'm going to sweep them as soon as I get over to them for any kind of electronic things, and then I'm probably proper not going to bash the GPS system out of there if I have to.
Give me a post-tech roll.
Copy that. Rolling post-tech.
Yeah. You discover that there is some sort of transmission signal coming from the transport truck.
Am I able to narrow down the
It's
exact
somewhere.
source?
It's somewhere inside the cargo section, where you have loaded his goods.
Wrong, Akron.
I'm gonna
As
see
I'm
if
checking
Ray.
over like the ignition and stuff.
I'm gonna ask Ray if she can look into the box. I'm gonna point out that there's a tracking signal and have her open the packages. I'm gonna stand a safe distance away while she investigates it.
Ray looks at you like,
I love your character.
The hell are you doing? You want to send me in as a guinea pig? You found the signal you tracking. I don't know how to work that thing you have.
So you pop open the cargo section. You investigate yourself, Akron.
I'll say we'll take one. I'll point you towards one, and I'll take the other.
You put me toward that more obviously dangerous one.
So you guys start going through. Like, are you actually trying to open the crates, or are you literally just passing the wand over them, trying to figure out where the signal's coming from?
Trying to figure out which one the signal's coming from, and once I figure that out, that one's coming open.
Yeah, you get to one that's closer to the back. It's one of the bigger crates. You don't remember loading it yourself. Like, this would have taken somebody really strong, or somebody putting a lot of effort into it. I guess, Akron, do you nudge it like with your foot to see like how heavy it is?
That's a big crate. I don't remember loading a big crate.
It was definitely one of the crates that was on the truck, but it was probably not the one that you loaded. It is very heavy, and the signal is definitely coming from there.
How is it meant to be opened?
It looks like it is a locker. Like it seems very sturdy, and it has some sort of key lock on it, like a key code. And it looks like it might be biometrically locked.
Akron, I don't think anything would have tampered with this crate. It's biometrically sealed.
Well, then he was bugged before he even left town, because it's in his crate. There's a transmission signal.
If it's his crate, I'd ask him about it. He'd probably be able to open it if he isn't questionable about it.
So about this time, everybody from the rest of the party has started, I guess, meandering towards the vehicles. Oliver and Phrixus and everybody else, Twitch and Marcus. Marcus is still probably chowing down on the extra lobster.
Back in my bag.
So as I jump down from the back of the truck, okay, Oliver, what's the deal here? Obviously these people are after you for some reason.
He looks at you a little confused. He says,
Yeah, what'd you do, man?
I told you I was in the mercenary business for 13 years. I have worked for many people, and I have worked against many people.
What's the deal with this crate back here? It's got a weird signal coming from it.
Signal? He looks.
So says Akron.
He walks around to the back of the truck, and he says, "There shouldn't be anything transmitting."
It's a biometrically sealed crate.
Motion to the other people and say, I don't want to know what you've done. I don't want to know what you're going to do. But I do want you to know that your crate is bugged.
He asks you to point which crate it is.
The big biometrically sealed one in the back.
He gets kind of a look on his face, like a little more serious, and he climbs up into the back. And he looks at it, and he says, "You're sure it's this one?"
I'll hand him the scanner and say, go ahead and take a look.
He runs it over there. He runs his hands across it, and he's feeling around the edges of the crate. Like he checks the lock, and it looks like it hasn't been tampered, at least to him. And after a moment, it seems like he finds something on the back of the crate itself. And he comes back with a small black square. It's basically just kind of like a sticker almost. And he holds it up, and it's got like some circuitry on it. And he glances at it, and then he hands it over to you, Akron.
I'm going to take a quick scan of it, and if it's a tracking device, I'm going to ask, let me think here. Let me see what I'm going to do with this. You know what? Actually, I think that we're going to need to see if Ray can call a taxi. And we're
Ray
going to have
gives
a
you
taxi.
a questionable look.
I want you to see if we can convince a taxi driver to deliver a package somewhere else in the city.
You want me
We're gonna stick that onto it.
to
I love it.
Ray's like, you want me to call a taxi and put another innocent person in line so they could be possibly shot at instead of you.
Well, if they find a taxi, they're not gonna shoot that. That's all good.
Do you check for robo taxi services on this planet?
The robot there
You would
automatically.
know that it is such a thing. On some planets, they have man
Who needs
taxis.
a taxi? You stick it to the rental car and get a new rental car.
Oh, we want to call it in just on there and then say our bad and send it on its way. That'll do the trick for it.
So
The rental car
Oliver's
was
just,
cheap. It was only like 15 credits.
Oliver exits the back of the truck. He looks pretty tired. He doesn't look like he's putting up any sort of fuss. Like he's going to go along with whatever you guys want to do. You have protected him. Are you guys calling another rental car?
Well, we have a perfectly good rental car, right?
Yeah, but you can use
Or do
the
you-
other
well,
rental car.
no, you-
It
for
sounds,
the-
it sounds like you're trying to call some sort of vehicle to plant the bug on and then send it
Well,
back.
that's Ekron's call. I
Yeah,
would have
is that-
just stuck it to the wall somewhere, but
I will
You know, we
call
could
a,
just leave it here.
that's all
I
I'm
will
saying.
call a robo taxi or whatever along those lines, attach it to it, and then say, "My bad, I no longer need the taxi." Send it on its way packing.
All right, you're still going to have to pay like
A call
5
fee.
credits. 5 credits for the taxi.
Five
but,
credits to do that is well worth it.
Yeah, you do. It only takes a few minutes for the taxi to get there. Like, these sorts of things are automated for a reason. And, you open the door and you stick the thing on the inside, and then you, like, turn to the cockpit where the driver program basically looks at you from the cameras and stuff, and you say, never mind. And, like, it doesn't put up a fuss. It's a freaking program. And you close the door and it just drives off.
I'm
So
gonna
you
ask
guys-
who knows of the shadiest red light district hotel in the city here in our group.
Why send it there? Send it somewhere respectable.
Oh no, I'm talking about for us.
Ray looks at you aghast.
we want,
Like, why would you know of such a thing?
We want to hit a hotel where people know that stitches get stitches.
Ray just suggests driving into the country and sleeping in the back of the car.
There is no country here.
Oh, it's just a giant city.
Yeah, what space is used, at least on the main island, is used. It's only the outer islands and stuff that actually have some sort of space, and those are like reserved for the rich. If you guys had talked to him at all about his plans for tomorrow, you would have found out that that's basically where you are intended to go. He has purchased an estate on one of the other islands, and you are intending to take mag train to get there across the ocean. So you guys just want to search for a cheap ass hotel or what?
Well, the expensive hotel didn't seem to help us any.
I'm just along for the ride, wherever Green wants to go.
Well, if it's gonna
All
be
right.
that, I've got a place here. It's not much but it'll be enough for the night.
Yes, you have been staying here a while.
That'll do the trick.
About
I don't-
parking, though.
Was it made for 6 people? We will see. It's like camp out at Twitch's.
It's gotta be better than where he's planning to go.
So
Probably is.
describe to us where you have secured residence.
What's the plan like? Because, like, I wasn't anticipating city when I heard about it, but
Yeah, it's again, it is mostly water. The biggest islands are basically just all cities, and it's only the smaller islands which have been kind of reserved for resorts and like really wealthy private owners that actually have any sort of free space at all.
probably just be it was just me, so it's probably just a small apartment somewhere, but it'll do for the night.
All right. So you
rent the
guys,
space over somebody's garage.
yeah, you guys drive for like 15 minutes, maybe 20 actually. It's pretty far from the good side of town that you were on, and you get to more or less. There's not like a bad area of this town in terms of like compared to other planets.
It's Cheapside, yeah.
The cheap side, you know, where all the service industry people live, and you know, there's actual like you actually park out on the street here, or in an actual physical parking deck, and so you guys park that, and like you actually park the truck, and the ground car, and Twitch you lead them across to your little apartment.
I want to leave one of the cameras in the cars. Absolutely.
Okay, awesome. Oliver seems to make sure everything is checked. He gives everybody a weary like glance over, like almost the entire time you guys are driving. Like this revelation that a tracker was found is putting, you know, something of a damper on the mood. He seems fairly certain that it was not there before. And so you guys are led into Twitch's apartment. It is a small ass apartment. It would be uncomfortable for two people to stay in. Like there is like a fold out bed, and like a couch, and that's probably about it for amenities. So you are going to be 6 people squeezing into this thing for the night. Again, Oliver
Ray
gives,
elects to
gives
stay in the car.
2 shits. All right, well, if you stay in the car, that's fine. Oliver doesn't really give a shit. He calls the couch, basically. And he plops down, and, like, after just... He walks through the whole place to get, like, possibly an idea as to where everything is and, like, where the windows are. After pulling out his gun and sticking it underneath his like, the pillow of the couch, he zonks out. He says, "Wake me up in the morning."
Alton will be
And,
sitting at the table with whatever alcohol you actually had in the fridge. And it's been a long day.
I'll probably set the camera up to be monitoring the outside of the door again, and
Nice.
this time be setting up a very loud alert if anything comes close or any motion is detected.
All right, so everybody, you know, this is pretty, like, not necessarily somber, but like definitely more down tempo than it was before. The Carthan is hardly saying anything at all. Like, you guys, he wasn't hardly saying anything before. Now it's just like he's really quiet. He's off by himself. Twitch seems to be the only person spending any time next to him, and he actually he seems to like look to Twitch when anything like happens at all. He just picks a corner of the room and kind of shucks down there. And yeah, I guess that's where we're gonna end the night.
I'm keeping a incredibly close eye on Twitch. I don't trust him. He's the
Okay.
tech-minded guy that was gone before we got ambushed.
Yeah, so Akron's got one of his portable cams outside Twitch's door and one stuck to one of the cars, I guess. And yeah,
Ray
that's,
just settles down on the back seat, stretches out as much as he can.
that's all good choices, and that will be where we end tonight.
You slept in worse places, put it that way.
Has anybody acted on a belief that they have, or accomplished some sort of goal?
Not this time around.
Can I act upon a belief that I want to change mine to? I really want to change it to everyone deserves a second chance.
I think that's a cool belief, to be honest. Like, it's cool
It
enough.
definitely is. I'm gonna say you can't do it retroactively.
Okay, but still.
Like, you could have acted on your own this time and gotten your thing for your belief. You can change it now, and I will tell you that you certainly will have the opportunity to follow that belief next session. specifically in how you deal with Phyrexius.
I think that's a cool concept, by the way, man. I like that.
Yeah, very cool. You definitely found a job. So Twitch, I would say mark down 150 XP and come up with a goal to replace it sometime.
Oh, I actually do have a goal for finding income to fund research. I don't even know if that would apply at all, but
Let's see here. Finding a new source of income to fund his research. That's general enough to where...
I don't know if it should have been on the list. I was just trying to fill it out.
I thought I'd written
Does
down
dealing with
XP for your
Phyrexius on my
things.
own count as my previous belief?
What was your previous belief specifically worded as?
I've made it so far on my own. What else I have it? Hold on, I'll just get the exact wording. Back up. Control Z. I've made it so far on my own. I can rely only on myself. That's what I had to begin with.
You took care of that situation yourself. You could have called in other people. So yeah, you marked down 250. All right, we'll just go down the list. Marcus, you definitely picked up a job or contract. I don't think you specifically broke the rules anywhere, but if you would argue against that, let me know.
Fuck the police.
You certainly displayed that in your attitude, but you didn't take anything that required a roll for it.
Not really.
So we'll keep that for now. Ray, let's see here. Remain loyal to your friends. Do you feel that you did something there? You did put yourself in harm's way.
There was, but I mean, if you feel it,
I think so.
I tried to support life, but I mean, I stuck with the friends. I didn't go against anybody, so to speak. But...
The way I read it is you basically you jeopardized yourself for the rest of the party. Like, you made a roll on it. It was either because you were
User
firing or
disconnected
being
from
fired
your
on.
channel.
Okay. That works.
So I think you get XP there.
Okay.
All right, and then down to Victor. Yeah, I would say it was vaguely worded, so you did find a new source of income. It didn't say you had to get the income. Like, you were reasonably certain that you were going to get this income at the end of this job. Mark down, I think it was 150 XP for this sort of thing.
Cool, man. Thanks.
And I will go back through anybody who's putting up new goals. I will come through later and assign XP values to them, and I will make sure to do that for your goals, Victor.
I'm updating my replacing that goal now since it would probably no longer be a goal.
Yeah, you've completed it. There's all general goals you can always fill in something similar later on, but you want to kind of keep it a little bit varied. Are there any questions or anything regarding this session?
I don't know.
Or anything?
I enjoyed myself, particularly since that shotgun wasn't loaded.
Yeah, it didn't matter, and he didn't know that you would get a negative for using it. It was all about how you used it.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome. I thought that was a really, really cool.
It's a
cool
break
way you
action
handled
shotgun. I can't imagine I would just leave it with 2 shells in it in my backpack.
Yeah.
Totally, it was a pretty cool way you handled it too. Definitely unique and very interesting. I thought it was cool.
Yep, I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording then.
Okay. Really
Cool, man.
pleased with how this session